Hey everyone, good morning. Can you hear me?
Morning.
Yes, we can hear you. Good morning, sir.
All right. Let's wait for a
Good
couple of
morning.
more minutes. Hey, morning all. Hey Hassan, did that video work for you yesterday?
No, sir. No, it didn't work, but I'm going to check again today.
Okay, I think I can see on YouTube it's uploaded now. So
Okay.
I don't think there should be any issue, and I'll forward it to everyone as well.
Certainly. I really appreciate that, sir. But I don't know. I cannot turn on my camera. Can you see me?
Uh,
No,
I cannot.
no, we cannot.
So from next week onwards, I'm going to migrate everything from Zoom to Teams, Microsoft Teams. They have a lot of good options there where I can share files and it will be available to everyone instantly the moment I do that, as opposed to going into emails and tracing your emails back and forth. So I think look forward for those changes sometime this week. I'll send you more information on that. And
Sounds like a plan, sir. Thank you.
I still cannot see you. Maybe it's some setting on your laptop.
So I went on my camera and tried to open it up. There's an error coming up and I can't do anything on it. Let's see.
Good morning, James.
Hey, morning.
Nope, still right. I don't see.
I'm trying to find one link for you all, just to give you an example. Mm, I don't know where the link is though. All right, never mind. We can probably, I think I'm waiting for a few more folks, but we can get started. All right, before we get started, hope you all had a wonderful remaining Saturday. I know half of your Saturday was taken by me, but remaining half was good for you all. Any questions from yesterday's class before we move forward? Right, I'll take that as no, and we can jump into the class. Let me start sharing my screen. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Cool. Rules and permissions. List of systems. Okay, this we're going to cover business requirements document. I think Shazia said that she is not going to join the call today. Um, Abdul, let me message him. we can continue with our discussions now. So yesterday, just to quickly recap, what did we do yesterday? We looked at the user journey, and let me open my screen and share what that journey was. So this was our user journey yesterday. What we did was we looked at every single step that a user has to take from the time user clicks on install an app and until user can book a ride, right? So this was our journey yesterday that we were looking at. So our goal is, before we start writing business requirements document, there are a couple of things that we do. First is we create the user journey, and second is we create the process flow. And after creating those two things, we look into the entire project and try to find out what are requirements we have to write for that. Okay. So the way we'll go about this is, I'll first share with you the process flow, how the process flow works. Can you see my screen? Can you see Microsoft Visio?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I have created a process flow for Uber application. Before you start any project, right, there are three things that you have to do. I mean, before you start writing business requirements document, there are three things you have to do. Create the user journey, create the process flow, and process flow will be of two types. Current process flow, the way it works currently, and the future process flow, how it should work in future. Right. So if you talk about a company for Uber, so our business case is this, right? That hey, we are offering taxi ride locally in Dallas and some other cities. We have a franchisee. The way it works right now is customer has to call us to book a ride. When they call us, we take their information, we pass it on that to the available driver within our company, and the driver goes to the customer's house and then or the location provided and picks up the customer from that point. So this is the current flow. This is how it works. And this is a very painful and time consuming flow because customer has to call in first of all. If you are not available on that call, or if there is a storm and no one is available to answer the call, or it's after office hours, or if you already have so many calls because let's say it's a Christmas day and you are already on the call to book so many rides. So in these cases, although you have capacity to serve these customers, but just because you cannot answer the call, you are going to lose the business, right? But this is a very renowned franchisee for taxi cab company, and they are trying to come out of this manual process and make everything really automated. So again, our current process is, this is how it works. Customer looks for a ride, customer wants a cab service, customer calls, finds your information on Google, customer calls on that number. Once customer calls on that number, someone will take his or her information, put it down, pass it on to the driver. Driver is available, yes. Then I will again call customer to confirm that, hey, your ride is confirmed. It is going to come at your home at around 2 p.m. Then driver discharges from the location, and after that, driver will reach at the customer's house or customer's location provided and give the service or give the ride and drop it off at the location requested by customer. And then we'll collect the money, probably using a credit card or probably using a check or probably in cash, right? This is how it works right now. This entire process we need to translate into automated service now. Any questions in the current flow? Do you guys all understand the current flow really well? Are we good so far? Go ahead, Savneet.
So in this, what we're trying to do, like what you're explaining, is currently we are doing it by calling the company and doing it. So we are trying to join the two and make an app, mobile app, where the customer, a user-friendly mobile app where the customer can directly do it by
Yes.
himself. We don't have to be
Self-serve.
involved in the process.
Self-serving capabilities.
So do we have to make wireframes also on that one, like from going from A point to B point? Like
No.
No. Okay.
So Hassan, I think don't worry about the things that you missed yesterday. This is we'll be doing a recap of that as well, and this is a completely new topic, which may not be so much related to the one that we covered yesterday. So Samnitya, that's the plan. So whenever we start a new project in the company, you always look at two things, right? As I said, first is the user journey, and second is the current flow and the future flow. So current flow, I just walk you through that. Now we're going to talk about the future process flow, and this is the one where we have to put more of our energy, and we have to write documentation, because what is existing right now, we need to change that.
Is it for all projects or is it just for this one project?
Every project will have current flow and the process flow, future process flow.
Okay.
So just think about it, right? If you're a mortgage company, or if you're starting a new mortgage company, what is your current flow? Current flow is zero, that we do not have any customers, but you will have some idea in mind that our competitors are doing it this way. Should we do it that way, or should we do it differently than them? But there is always an idea in your head that this is how it's working in the market, or this is how it is working in our company right now. Once you identify those things, then only you can build the future process flow. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult for you. You will always get confused what is there and what is not there, right? So it's called gap analysis, as is and to be. Current flow versus the future process flow. It's called gap analysis.
Okay.
Cool. So app is to streamline the journey. That's correct. And let's move forward. I'll show you the example of what it should be. Okay. So this is have you all created process flow before in your school life? Flow chart or process flow? This is very similar to flow chart. There are some rules to use this flow chart. You use this for start and for end. This shape is for start and for end. This shape, diamond shape, is for yes or no questions. This shape is where you will take the customer's action, everything that you put from the customer standpoint, all the actions your system or your customer is doing, you'll put it in this box. This box is used for a process within the process, which is sub-process. So just want to give you this protocol. Whenever you create the process flow, please remember this shapes and which shapes to use when. Okay. I think these are the only shapes you will use in the beginning, not anything else. When you're writing a business requirements document or functional requirements document, you don't have to go anything beyond this. This is all you need to know. There are some other shapes that is being used. For example, this one. When you use this one, it's for the documentation. Like someone is sending a document to you, or you are sending document to someone. This is for database. And I think we don't have to use this tool for ourselves. Technical team, you might find technical team will be using these two shapes more often than what we are doing. It's because whenever customer is submitting a form online, there's a document that gets created. But not for us. I'll just move it out from here. We don't need that. So only shapes that we need to remember is the one that we have here on this page. Okay, so this is how the journey is going to look like for future. Customer downloads the Uber app. Customer decides to sign up. Customer fills in the sign up information. If no, customer will go back to sign up process. If customer fills in sign up information, customer is prompted to enter the credit card information. When customer enters the credit card information, if it is valid, it goes further. Customer is navigated to home screen. If it is not valid, it will go back to the same step where customer has to re-enter the credit card information. Once you enter the customer, once customer is navigated to the home screen, customer has an option, decides to book a ride service. Customer books a ride service. There are two options. Customer can book ride service for on demand or future, which is I need service right now, or I need service after 2 days from now. Right? So on demand is more like I need right now. I'll just say this as future scheduled. if you define, if this is again, this is a decision box, right? Yes or no, yes or no, or whenever there are multiple options, right? So when you want to make a payment could be made using debit card, using credit card, using your bank account. There are three different options. So it can be possible that you will use this three different fork lines from here as opposed to two, because there are three different paths from here. So you use this decision box whenever there is a yes or no kind of question, or whenever there will be multiple path offered to the customer. When you go use your GPS, you put your from and to destination. It gives you 4 or 5 different ways, right? This is how you can reach to your destination. And based on each destination, based on each option that you select, it will be a different route, correct? Likewise here in this process, whenever you offer two different options to customer, based on option that they choose, their future journey is defined based on that. So over here, if customer selects future schedule, it's going to show different flow to the customer. If I'm selecting on demand, this is the flow it is going to the customer. So if I select on demand, customer provides from and to address. If address is valid, yes. Then service and fare validation process. This is the calculation logic. Based on your address, Uber has some calculation logic, some process created beforehand, based on which you will see the fare for the from and to destination. Like this is the amount of time it is going to take, and this is the amount of price you're going to pay for this ride. Once that's shown, you'll find out whether is this in the servicing area or not. Do you service this area or not? Not every area is being serviced by Uber. Right, 10 years before, only few cities were serviced by Uber. Right now, although it is international, still there are a lot of places where Uber does not provide service. So whenever customer provides from and to address, we always have to find out whether this area is in our serviceable area or not. If it is not in serviceable area, we'll just display a message to customer, sorry, we do not provide ride in your area, and change your city. If it is in serviceable area, Uber provides selected drivers information. These are the drivers that you have available in your area who can give you a ride. Customer chooses two drivers. I'm just modifying the journey here little differently than Uber. I'm saying that Uber gives us an option to choose a driver as opposed to assigning driver on their own. That is the change I'm making in this project. Okay. So Uber provides selected drivers information. Like it will display 5 to 10 drivers information to you with the ratings and with their pictures. You can select two drivers from that, and from those two drivers, any driver who has accepted the ride first, that ride will be assigned to that driver. Okay, and if both of them does not accept this ride, then we'll go back to the screen. We'll show you now remaining options. Hey, these drivers are not available. Please choose from the remaining drivers. And again, you'll choose one driver from that, and you'll move forward. So once you choose the driver, customer is notified that the driver has accepted the ride. Driver marks the ride complete, and customer's card on file will be charged. There is a payment process. So this is again a sub process. Payment is super complicated. There are a lot of rules and regulations like imposed by US government. We have to take care of all those things. There are a lot of security and protocols that we have to take care of. It's a sub process. So customer's card on the file gets charged. There will be a payment process. Payment is ran through. Customer's card is charged now. Customer receives a receipt and is able to rate the driver. Customer rates the driver and process completes. Do you feel when you go and take a ride from Uber, when you request a ride from Uber, do you feel you have a similar experience than what we have captured here? It may not be same, but it's a similar one. I've intentionally made some changes in this process. So if you see, our current process was customer calls in, books the ride. When they book the ride, after that, they will have to probably find a driver. They'll have to again inform a customer that your driver is on the way. And then customers will take the ride. And at the end, they will pay either with credit card, cash, or check. All those manual touch points have been replaced automatically by this system. So this is what companies envisioning now. This is the reason they want to spend $5 million on this mobile application so that we can grow faster, right? Currently, we are only in 3 or 4 cities, but we want to grow nationwide. If you want to grow nationwide, we cannot really have more people employed just to answer the phone call and keep 24/7, keep them busy 24/7, because it will be a lot of employees cost that you have to pay. At the same time, it is still manual. and customers still have to wait for 2 to 3 hours before they can get a ride. So all these pain points will be removed by this because customers are able to do everything on their own. Am I right? This is like replacing a existing process to the new process. Now, whether it's for taxi or whether it's for finding a house, whether it's for your personal or checking account, like your banking app, whether it's for applying for a loan, or whether it's for making a payment after you have a loan, right? If you have a mortgage at your home, you want to make a payment after that. You will download the app for that bank and you will be able to make a payment. So this process is, the pain points are always same, right? If you have to go to the branch or bank branch and make a payment, what is the disadvantage? You have to first, you can make payment only in the office hours, correct? Second, you have to drive towards that location, so travel time is included in that. Your customer service may not be consistent because every teller with whom you are working can have a different personality. So you are dealing with people, your experience will not be consistent, right? Other advantages would be that from the business perspective, like you have to have a branch within few miles of every single zip code available in US if you want to grow nationwide, right? If you don't, then you are going to provide poor service to customers because they will drive 15-20 miles from their location just to make a single transaction on their bank account or making a payment, right? So whenever you want to replace a manual process to the automatic process, these are the always benefits and disadvantages that you can look at. Whenever there is anything manual, there is always a disadvantage of whether that person is available or not. There will be extra cost given to that person because we have to hire him and we have to keep that person to keep our business in flow. Travel time, dissatisfaction, different personality. These are common, very common problems that every business is facing. And that is the reason we are trying to convert it into a mobile application or a website or something else where customers can do things on their own. I'll give you one example of my recent purchase on, have you guys used overstock.com?
Yeah, yeah.
It's Amazon's competitor, Overstock, Etsy, and there are a few other websites. So I'm a person who's usually like super busy, and I do not have time to call customer service because I have so much things going on in my daily life. It's very hard to really call someone and be on the call for like 30 minutes and do something. So I called them. Sorry, I purchased something from Overstock around the time of Christmas, and they showed me the delivery date as 9th of January. I think I forgot to follow up with them. It was 15th and 17th of January now. I do not see the package at my home. So I'm like worried, like what is happening, right? So I went online. I just searched for overstock.com and I looked up for their customer service number. They had given me two options. Either I can call them or I can text them. First time I have seen customer service offering something through text. So I got fascinated by that experience and I wanted to text that number. The moment I texted that number, it asked me some follow-up questions. Hey, what is your order number? Or what is your last name? What is your phone number? So they can locate my package, right? So it instantly told me that, hey, your package has been delayed. The delivery date is changed to 5th or 7th of February. If I don't remember the exact date, but it told me 5th or 7th of February. And I was like, why would I really wait till that time? Right? I've already waited for a week extra, what you told me to, and I'm really disappointed now. So I just told them, hey, I want my refund and I want to cancel this order. So they instantly routed that message to someone, not a robot, like some person who is going to talk to me now through SMS. Okay, not on call still. So that person told me, hey, how can I help you? I see that you have put a request for canceling the order. If we reschedule the delivery date to an earlier date, is this something you can still go with, or you still want to cancel the order? I said I want to cancel the order, and he canceled the order right there and then. I got an email, and I saw that that amount also got reflected in my bank account immediately. So all this happened within 2 minutes, just in 2 minutes. So just imagine if I were to call someone, and if I were to talk with some agent, and he will solicit me that, hey, this is what we can do and this is what you cannot do and all those things, right? All this blah blah stuff. And I have to be on the call because if he's busy, I'll be just wasting my 20 minutes just to be on the call to get connected to the agent. But just imagine, this service is so amazing 2 minutes of my time, and I was able to find the status of my package. I was able to cancel the order, and I was also able to talk to someone and give the feedback right there and then. Right? Amazing, amazing work. I have never seen any customer service like this so far in my life. This is the first time I think I've experienced Overstock's customer service. Not even Amazon is even not doing this. So it was really good to see that. So it is the same problem, right? So the process flow that we have here, it's taken to the next level. Customer does not have to download the app. Customer does not have to sign up. Customer doesn't have to give credit card information. All you're doing is texting, hey, I want to buy this product. This is my phone number. This is my address. Get it delivered at my home. And you can probably pay. There could be a pay button. You just pay it, and it is taken care of. In the text only, it will give you an option. You can make your payment from this link. You click on that link, it pays, and you're done. So my entire process that I have here to download this app and create the sign up process, create my profile, put my credit card information, and then worried about it that my information will be used in some different ways, and all of this crap will be cut down. Do you guys agree? So same problem that we have, as I said before as well, right? We are constantly trying to solve the exact same problem in different ways. As time passes by, as generation passes by, we solve this problem in a different way. That's all we are doing. So for this one, of course, we are not going to create the like the text option. If we have to, we can. It will require artificial intelligence and machine learning. And from our perspective, again, we don't have to know how artificial intelligence or machine learning is going to work. What we need to know is what kind of questions customer is going to ask. Like what could you anticipate when customers are texting you? What could they texting you for, right? And how to reply to that. We need to think through those questions and those answers. That's our job. How to make that happen? How that machine learning works? How artificial intelligence works? This is all taken care of by developer or the artificial intelligence specialist. It's not us. Okay, but this is just to give you an example of an exemplary customer service that I've recently witnessed. So in this flow, let's get back to the reality though. Our flow is where we have to download the app, we have to sign up as a customer, and then add the credit card information. This is our project. Are we all good with the details provided in this project?
Just a quick question. So the orange ones, they are highlighted because it's related to the drivers and not the customer. Is that
question? I forgot to mention that. That's correct.
okay?
I've tried to use color coding here so that this step and this step will be intersecting with driver's mobile application. There is a connection between one mobile application and the second one. Cool.
So after this, I'm sorry, I'm on mute. No. So after this step, after this flow chart, then we create the wireframes and hand it over to the developer.
We do not hand over the process flow or wireframes to developer. We have to hand over the entire document, which is business requirements document. And as part of business requirements document, you will have this process flow, you will have user journey, you'll have mockups, you'll have wireframes, and then you submit that to the developers. So you're going to write a book.
Okay. And is this like what we are doing, or with everybody's assistance, like with brainstorming and everything? That's when we are creating this.
There are multiple steps involved. You cannot create this in one day or in 1 hour. It's the outcome after having several discussions with your business stakeholder or the subject matter expert around this process who is sponsoring this project, right? There will be a dedicated team to answer your questions. So you have several meetings with them, and then you will be able to figure out what is working and how it is working. But if you want to move fast in that direction, what you can do is you can find out some competitor's app and see how it is working and put that journey in front of your subject matter expert. Hey, this is how I've seen people have developed this process. Do you want to do it in this way, or do you want to do it in a different way? That's one more way. But there is no sequence here, what comes first and what comes next. But before you start business requirements document, before you start writing business requirements document, you really want to find out what this flow looks like and what is the customer's journey. Customer's journey is the one that I shared here yesterday, right? And I'll just go over this quickly one more time, as Hassan was not on the call yesterday. So Hassan, I'll just walk you through how it looks like, right?
So this is the second step, right? I mean, if you go, it'll be easier.
There is no sequence.
No, okay.
There's no sequence. You can do this first and then do this next, like process flow, or you can do process flow first and this next. There is no sequence there. But the sequence is before writing a business requirements document, you absolutely have to have this.
Both
one.
of these. Okay.
So does that answer your question, Sunny?
Yes.
All right. So over here, we have the App Store page first. From App Store page, we click on install. Once we click on install, it will give us an option to open the app. I click on open. The moment I click on open the app, it will ask for my location, device location. I have a permission whether I can say allow or deny. The next step is, should I allow notification on my phone? I can select yes or no. Then it will show me the first screen that, hey, you can download the, start registering for Uber as a customer, right? So I click on get started. It will ask me for my phone number. Once I put my phone number, I have to put my verification code. Once I put my verification code, it will ask me for my email ID. Then I have to verify my email by again putting the verification code here. After that, it will ask me for my profile information, my first name, my last name, my password if I have to create one. Then it will ask me to add my payment method, which is I can add Venmo, I can add PayPal, I can add credit card, I can add all this information. Once you add this, it will ask you for your credit card number, if you have chosen credit card here, and based on your country, this information can change. So I've just given the country pop-up here. And once you add this, you will see the home screen. From this home screen now, you can book the ride. So this is the journey. And we are going to write the business requirements for this journey of a customer. There will be another journey for login flow where customers have this app already installed. So login flow would be you open the app. The moment you open the app, you will directly land on this screen because you are never logging out from mobile application. Customers usually do not log out from mobile application. If they have logged out, then there will just a sign-in screen when they put in their username and password. The moment it enters, the value is matching, they'll route them to the screen again. So this is the user journey for us. Do we all agree? Do we feel that we understand user journey at a high level? This is something we have to create. We will create this process flow. And again, you will have this in different documents. Like you'll have one in Microsoft Visio because process flow is created usually in Visio or in PowerPoint if you have to. And for user journey, there is another tool which is like this. And we can attach these screenshots in our business requirements document. And I'll walk you through in a minute what is business requirements document. But before we do that, it's important for us to know that these two steps are mandatory. Are we good? Okay. Any question, Hassan?
No, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
Oh, so we'll start writing the business requirements document now. So let me walk you through so this document could be created in Excel sheet or could be created in Word document. There is no requirement as such that it has to be in Excel. But I create this in Excel because it is always easier to read through things because I can move this rows up and down if I have to. I can add more columns if I have to. And visually, it is easier to digest information from an Excel as opposed to reading our document. So I feel good about that. And like for every row, if I have a comment, I can add a column that says comment and I can add my comment there. So it becomes really easy for me to read through the entire document. So I prefer Excel sheet, but in your company, they may have a standard where they want you to create this in the Word document or in an Excel, or they have a template to create the business requirement document. So use that information and then create a document from that point. Your company will tell you how to create this. If they do not have any standards, you can use the template that we have created in the class and just go with that one. Okay. So like we create any book, like we write any book, right? This is the exact same thing. This is how you write the business requirements document. So you have an index. So this is the tab. I'm going to share this Excel sheet with you all. In this tab, there is a first tab that says doc comparison. These are the documents that a business analyst has to create. Project charter, business requirement, functional requirement document, then use cases, and then user stories. These are 5 different types of books that you have to create. Okay. Project charter we have covered yesterday, and Hassan, you'll see what that is when if you go through the recording. But the basic essence of creating this document is you need to remember this index first. What is being asked in this index? Because this is an interview question. If you remember, I was asking about on Thursday's class, we said that what are the components of your document? Do you guys remember that question? We were covering a question where what are the components of the documents that you have created? So these are the components. You have index, you have SharePoint link, you have version history, stakeholder groups, project overview, business goals, business requirements, assumptions, dependencies, and glossary. In here, in this index, you will just list down all these things. Row number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, what we have here in row number 9, and then assumptions, dependencies, and glossary. You'll have page numbers assigned in the index. But the key thing here to remember is SharePoint link. SharePoint link is something like Google Drive link. So if I'm writing a document on my laptop, okay, I have saved that in my C folder. And if my laptop crashes, what's going to happen? I have to rewrite my entire document. Correct? So, and in company, you cannot afford like every once in a while your laptop will get crash. And not just with you. There are several people with whom this is going to happen. So that is the reason whenever you write anything for your company, you always write it at a SharePoint location. You save them in a SharePoint location. So even if your laptop crashes or if it breaks for some reason, you can always go back and find your same document again from the Google Drive. Like this is a SharePoint version. So companies use SharePoint. They don't use Google Drive. Okay. So the way it works is, I'll just show you here. If you are looking at my screen, so there is a link like this, OneDrive. Do you see this? When you click on this link, you'll be able to save all the documents there. When you join any company, you will see that OneDrive option there. And in that OneDrive option, you just have to click on it and save your document there. And after that, you have ways to give access to the document. Like in Google Drive, you can give permissions to someone, right? Someone can edit the document, someone can read the document. Same access you have on yourself here as well. Like you can give that access to someone or you cannot give access to someone. Okay. After you give the access or you restrict the access, the next thing comes in the picture is the version history. When you start writing this document, it goes through several rounds of review before it gets approved. And after every round, there is a feedback given to you. You either have to edit something, either have to add something or remove something from the document. So you always keep the tracking of this version history. And what in this version history, what you will see is usually you mention a person who has changed the information or person who has added information and why. And you will put a version number as 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. It just goes on and on like that. I've seen some companies have documents created which they're using for years and years. And for example, if you're creating a document for company's phone number, phone directory, right? So for Bank of America, they need to know all their phone numbers, right? You add so many phone numbers every day, you remove so many phone numbers every day because they are big people. So they have to maintain this document somewhere. And when they maintain this document can be used for years and years. So you would literally see their version history goes up to 1001, 1002, 1003 like that. There are so many versions that have been updated. Next is stakeholder groups. And we're going to write this thing so you would exactly know how this works. Stakeholder group is every single person who is involved in this phase, business requirements phase with you, who is going to give you information or who's going to review your document. both the groups, who is going to give you information and who is going to review your documents. You have to list down those names here. At the end, when everything looks good, in this section, they will write, I approve, or they will just give their signature, which means this document is approved. Okay. Next is project overview or background. You can literally copy this from the project charter. Whatever you had in the project charter, just copy that and put it here. Project overview and business goals. So this is how you start writing business requirements document first. And this is the heart of the requirement, this document. Business requirements. So section 9 will be for business requirements. Under this business requirements, this is what you need to capture. So you have to capture the business process logic, which is as is and to be process flow. This is what we just discussed. Business rules, calculation logic, high level process flow, error scenarios. You have to attach the mockups if we have any. I'll walk you through what is threshold conditions, some minimum and maximum information, like customer cannot request for a ride which can cost only 25 cents. The fare cost is 25 cents. Customers cannot request for such ride. Customer cannot request for a ride from Uber which can cost $1 million. Right? Can you request for a ride from Uber which can cost $1 million? You cannot. So there is a minimum and maximum conditions that every business has that we have to satisfy. High level business requirements. We'll walk you through that, what that is. All these things at the bottom you may not understand right now, but as we move further in the class, you'll exactly know what these things are about. Content management, web responsive, ADA compliant, cross device, static versus dynamic option. I'll walk you through all these things in extremely detail today. So this is the kind of mindset you need to have when you write business requirements document. And I would suggest when you start your first job, if you're writing a business requirements document, you absolutely have to review this BRD that we have written here in the class. And you have to go through this high level list because these are your questions. Thinking in this direction, it just looks like 17 topics right now. I can guarantee you this 17 topics will convert to at least 170 questions. I'm talking about 170 questions that you have to ask to different stakeholders in your project. And if you will not be able to remember everything after a few months from now, like, hey, what are the points we have here? So whenever you start working on it, look this section as the reference for you and start asking questions based on this framework. These are the questions we need to ask. And again, as I said, we need to first find out as is and to be flow, which is the process flow, and the user journey. I can probably add that here, user journey and user journey. This is the first thing that you do in the process before you start writing business requirement document. Okay. So we'll be covering these points. We will not be able to cover all 17 points today, but I'll at least make sure that we are able to go through half or little further than that if possible. So any questions so far before I jump into the actual business requirements document, how to write that for this Uber application?
Just a quick question. So in the flow chart that we discussed earlier, and we are always improving processes, right? So if there's a change in this process, if one of these modules is kind of, we tweak it, this will be reflected in the business requirement. Yes. And then that will be another version? As
a new version, that's correct.
Okay.
But that is the reason you really want to make sure that you get approvals on this user journey and this process flow before even you start writing the business requirements document. So you'll get a verbal approval from your business stakeholder or subject matter expert. Hey, this is what it looks to me. Are we good? If he gives you yes, that hey, everything looks good, then is a time where you can start writing this requirements document down. Otherwise, what's going to happen? You start writing this document, you'll keep editing this again and again, right? Which will just not be good use of your time. It's like when you hire a carpenter, you at least agree upon some high level information, right? This is what I want to do, and this is the high level price. After that, things can change again, but you want to start with something which you both agree on, right? And that would be your process flow, which is this. So your process flow, which is this, that you do create in Microsoft Visio, and your user journey, which you will be creating in app.diagram here. Or you can also create this exact same journey in Microsoft Visio if you have to. Just copy those screenshots and put it here. And you can still do that. You can create this journey in Visio as well. Okay, so these are the tools that you use.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Any other question before I jump into the actual discussions about the business requirements, how to write that? There will be 2 interview questions from this. And it might sound silly, but people do ask this question. So I really wanted to remember everything that we are seeing on the screen right now. So first interview question is, what is the component? What are the components that you have used or you have when you write business requirements? So this is the component list. Okay, this is the component list. In this component list, when you're describing business requirement, you can probably add a few things from this one to describe what is business requirements. Second question would be, when you write business requirements, what are the kind of questions or what are the kind of requirements you will gather? So that answer is this one. You might have heard me talking about requirements a lot. What is requirement? That's a basic question, first of all, before even I can get into get into this BRD. So requirement is something for which you are going to invest money, right? So if Uber cannot give ride for less than 50 cents or more than $1 million, if you want to put this minimum and maximum conditions in your mobile application, it's a requirement. Why? Because someone has to write a code for this. Am I right? Someone has to write a code for this. Someone has to create this experience so that this flow is not a very bad, like someone has to really do work on this one, right? It's not that you cannot do work and you can roll out your application without this. It is not that way. So whenever anything that you are working on and there is an investment in terms of money, someone is involved, that's called requirement. Rest everything is a comment. Comment is something which you don't have to you just have to be aware about something, right? That, hey, when your carpenter is coming at your home, hey, the keys are under the mat. Just for your knowledge, right? You can probably just you can just find the keys from under the mat. That's a comment. But if you want to tell him that, hey, I want to build this sofa, he's going to put in some work for that, right? When he's doing some work, you have to pay him for that. Are you going to pay him just to find that key? You're not going to, right? But you're going to pay him if he's going to build something for you. So like this, when you're creating a software, there are comments, there are assumptions, and there are requirements. And we'll understand these things more better once we start writing this document. But for your knowledge, requirement is something which someone has to code. Developer has to write a code for that thing is called a requirement. Why? Because the moment he starts coding, his billing starts that, hey, I'll be charging you $50 an hour. I will be charging you $100 an hour, right? So you have to pay that amount to developer. So that is what requirement is. And I'll exactly walk you through what requirements are in more detail. Everything that you see here in row number 9, everything is a requirement. These are different types of requirement that you can think about. Okay. So once again, before I move forward, any questions on this? This is, let me say this loud and clear for now, that understanding this BRD document is extremely important for your job success. You cannot afford to not understand BRD. Whether it's waterfall, whether it's agile, it doesn't matter. This is the first thing that 70% of the times that you will be working on when you start your first job. And this is not that difficult. Once we practice this little more, it will become really easy after that for you. But when you're looking at these things first, it may look like it's a lot of information, but there is a way to find all this information and write all this information. And we are going to cover that in a minute from now. But please do ask questions in the class if there is any point where you're not able to connect with me or follow things that I'm saying in the class. This is the heart of your role. You cannot afford to not do this right. Okay. Are we good? As a BA, this is the first thing that you will be doing in your company or for any project that you're going to work on. So I have several tabs here. I'm going to talk about the tab for business requirement that we have here. Can you all still see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So I've just given some examples. This is also an interview question that when you write requirement, what do you keep in mind? When we write requirement, we have to make sure it is clear, concise, simple, and independent. We don't put a lot of like fancy English words here. It has to be very simple so that anybody who is reading this document can understand things really well, right? It's not the place to showcase our English power. It's more to show what we want to build in this software. And the best way to write these requirements properly is whenever you write any requirements document, check it with your spouse or some of your friend. If they're able to read these things and make some sense without knowing anything about this project, that means you've done a good job. But if they have questions for everything that you've written here without knowing anything about this project, that means you've not done a good job of writing this document. That will be your measurement. Okay? Because people who are going to read this document, there are people who will not know anything about this project. As a BA, when you start this project, you are the only one who is going to work on this first. Then you start involving other team members. So they would not have any knowledge about this project. So
question.
Go ahead.
So our wife's going to get paid just to reading these documents? Just kidding.
Indirectly, yes, because if you are getting paid and not getting fired, then that money is probably going to your wife ultimately, right? I'm just joking, but she will not get paid. And I know you also know that.
Certainly, yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'll start from, there are some requirements here. So whenever you work on mobile application, right, you have always used mobile application as an end user, but there are so many things that you need to know about this now. So when you download the App Store screen is not controlled by us, correct? App Store screen is controlled by iPhone, like Apple, correct? When you download the app, or when the notifications, the way you create the notifications, the way someone sends the notification, push notification, right? If Apple has a problem in their notification system, then all the companies will face the same problem because notifications will not come through you. And there is a way where notifications could be coded wrong from your company's end and customers are not able to receive notification. So whenever you work on mobile application, you have to first find out what is that goes to Apple, what are the Apple requirements, and what are our company's requirement. Fair assumption, right? Because Apple is not going to open up their code for us and let our developer barge into their code and make any changes. Am I right? No company will let you do that, correct? So first of all, before we go into this, let's create the list of requirements, list of systems that will be involved for this project, okay? So systems involved, I'm going to create, or we can create in the Excel sheet so just to keep everything in one place. I'll be creating list of system here. How many systems would we need when we create an app like Uber? Can someone tell me? So we need, of course, we need Apple or Android systems, Apple or Android software, right? Which is not controlled by us. This is not controlled by us. Second, what do you need? Our own mobile application you will need. Within that mobile application, what all things would you have? So we have something for payment. We have something for
Client information,
Sorry, which information?
client information, customer information.
Customer information. Okay, let's write it down for now. I'll tell you my thoughts on this after this. What's next? We have created this big list yesterday. Uber will require a map. Do you think Uber has built their own maps?
Google Map, maybe?
Yes, Google Map. What else would you need for an app like Uber? App security. What else?
Do we need customer service?
Customer support is what you would need.
Okay.
Customer support, which is on your mobile application. You might have FAQs, you might have someone's phone number, or you can start doing chat from there, right? So customer support or instant chat.
Marketing team, I believe. Don't know.
You will need marketing team, but in terms of developing mobile application, what would you need for marketing team? Promotion, promo code, right? Promo code management. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Promo code management and referral management. What else would you need from the mobile application perspective? You would need a notification system.
Notification.
Send notification. Sorry guys, my son just walked in. Okay. All right. Okay. So you can do a hike. Okay.
So cute.
Need a help icon.
2 minutes. I think it will be hard for me to put him out in another room. He will just going to cry. Just give me 1 minute. Okay. So thank you. Hey all. Okay. So notification
Error scenario. Sorry. Error scenario.
Error scenarios, wouldn't it be
Like user errors, if they have sometime it happens, you're trying to read some app, it don't show up, or it don't pop up.
Don't you think, Hassan, that error scenario will be applicable for every single systems that we have listed here?
Certainly, yes, it does. But as you asking me about the requirements, I was going through.
I'm talking about systems, not requirement right now. Like what different type of high-level systems would you need to manage this entire mobile application?
Inbox.
Inbox as in email?
Yeah, when you like send messages.
You don't have to have inbox, right? You don't have inbox in your Uber application. You don't need to have emails in your application, because if notification is there, that's more than enough, right?
Okay, yeah. Help.
Help is customer support, so I can probably put your help.
What about different type of rides? Like, Uber has 3 or 4 options of the kind of rides that you can get, like in a group or
So
different type of cars.
different type of rides and car vehicle
Yeah.
repository. That's a really good one. But again, vehicle repository will not be for
Creating an app.
no. So I think let me state this is customer's mobile app, not the driver's mobile app. If you talk
Okay.
about the driver's mobile application, then the vehicle repository is very important, right? Do you think that Uber is going to manage their own vehicle repository? They cannot. Every company like Mercedes, BMW, they come up with so many different type of cars every year. It's humanly impossible to keep track of all these different companies in different countries and keep a repository of that. There should be some third party vendor who is already doing this, and we just talk to that company and find that information from there. But I'll definitely put that here. So vehicle repository is what I will say. Vehicle repository.
What about driver information?
Drivers again. So let's just say it right now. I'll say what goes into driver application, what goes into customer's mobile application after that. Driver's information, that's correct. What's next?
So for customer, it can be cancellation and refund request.
Cancellation all would be part of payment service.
Okay, yeah.
Feedback.
Sorry, I missed that.
Feedback.
Feedback. Yes. Feedback tool. Feedback is like you can leave your feedback. If something is not working or something you did not like, you can leave your feedback. You need a rating system.
Yeah.
Am I right? You need a rating system.
Ride end system, I believe.
Ride and
Start and big end ride.
we don't need a system for that. We are building a system for that. I'm trying to find out some. I don't think you can build this on your own, right? You don't have to depend on someone else for that. Like starting a ride and ending a ride. There is one more thing I can think about: customer communication, which is emails or email alerts, like sending customers emails regarding promotional code or regarding their ride. Notifications are different than the emails. But by law, they have to send you certain emails. If they don't, then they can get in trouble. So customer communication is required. What else? I think
What about information of the about the time it takes for the ride, to arrive and then time to reach the destination.
so. Ride time, distance, and fare. This is all. So in my mind, right, when you talk about ride time, ride distance, ride fare, all be part of your mobile application, but it can be part of both Google Maps and us, because we do not know how much time it is going to take without Google Map letting us know. Am I right to say that?
Yeah, it integrated with.
Yes. So I think it's a joint requirement between Google Map and our company. But the moment we say Google Map, we are assuming is going to provide you all this information: time, distance. Fare is something which will not be provided by Google Map. But the way Google Map is going to give you information about time and distance, based on that, you can calculate your fare. Am I right? So I'm thinking this may not be additional system. We already have that covered under Google Map. And lastly, we'll have our own code, I'm just saying it for reference here. Like this is all our company is going to build. Okay. So if you want to create a mobile application, whether it's Uber, whether it's Zillow, whether it's your banking application or any other application, right? These are different systems that you would always need. Now, what we have to find out from this is, from this list of system, which system is going to be built by your company, which system is going to be built by a third party, like you can outsource your work, and which systems are ready-made systems from third party, which we can use. Like Google Map is a third party, right? Google Maps are already ready. We just have to integrate with them. Are you with me? Is it making sense? So three.
Yes, sir.
Who is, what are we building or developing? What is being developed by outsourcing companies like Wipro, Cognizant, Deloitte, TCS, etc., or any other company. Third question is, what are the vendor products we are going to use?
So what are the vendors?
Vendors are Google Map.
Okay.
There is a payment service. I'll tell you what are the vendors for this. Google Map, Stripe, Braintree, PayPal, so this is the answer. Google Maps, Stripe, Braintree, PayPal. What are the systems our company has to build? Answer could be very well nothing. We are not building anything. Everything will be done by Wipro, Cognizant, or some third party. We can very well make that as an answer. Okay, it all depends on your company and their priorities. So over here, I can tell you this feedback tool. We use feedback tool. That is the tool for rating system. This is a vendor product. Notification management, we have to create promo code management. App security. So these are the different systems or different vendors that we'll have to work with. Before we push this mobile application into market, I can definitely see from my past experience, you will at least need this many systems here for this one, for managing feedback, for managing ratings, for managing promotional codes, and for managing app security and Google Map. These things, we have to rely on third-party products. We cannot build from our side. Some companies may want to build some of these things from the scratch, but it just means that their time to deliver the product in the market will increase from that. Or if it is going to take $5 million to create the product, instead of that, it will take $8 million now because you have to create these products on your own, right? This feedback tool and all these are
So it's not going to be. So it's not going to be cost effective then, if you try to build our own all these things from ground up.
Excellent question. So what is cost effective? Let's define that. When you say cost effective, what do you mean by that?
Well, what I mean is cost effective means, first of all, cost effective time spent on research and development, manpower, when we can get the same product from outsourcing and just enhance it to our own needs and wants?
So Uber, let me give you a really interesting example on this. Uber does more than 15 million rides a day. And let me confirm my statement. How many ride Uber per day? 15 million rides per day is what Uber does every day. Okay. So let me give you an example now. It's an interesting one. This will help you understand the cost effectiveness. Okay. So cost effective example, Uber does 15 million rides a day. Okay. And we are assuming that Uber is going to use payment services like Stripe. Uses Stripe as the payment service. And I can show you what Stripe is so that you all know. Stripe. This is the company. This is the company that provides you the payment options. You can make payments from your phone. You can make payments using your credit card, debit card, your bank account. They have created the entire system behind it. It's being used by Amazon. It's being used by Lyft. Uber was using this until 2015, and then they switched to Braintree. There are so many other companies that uses this Stripe. It is super, super easy to use. Super easy to use, like in terms of, and super easy to integrate with your existing tools. So this tool charges you about 3% of each transaction. Okay, 3% of each transaction. And 15 million rides, I can say that one ride would be for, on an average, $10. Do you think it's a fair assumption? Across the world, whenever anyone is taking a ride from Uber, I'm thinking, and their average could be $10 per ride. Is it a fair? Do you think it's fair to assume that?
Yeah.
Okay. So 15 million rides into $10. How much it is? 15 million into 10 would be 150 million, right? 150 million, 150 million dollars. Is this right? So out of $150 million, let's talk about Uber. Let's open the calculator. I'm showing you how to calculate the cost effectiveness. Okay. There are two different ways. So 150 million, why it is not opening? So 150 million dollars, 3% of that into 0.03. I'm doing 3%. It is 3 divided by 100, which is 0.03. So this comes to how much? $4.5 million. $4.5 million every day is being paid to Stripe. This is right. Now, so calculate 12 times, sorry, not 12 times, 365 times $4.5 million equals how much? Into 365. It's coming to $1.6 billion. Okay, it's coming to $1.6 billion per year is what Uber is paying to Stripe every year. Okay, now what is cost effectiveness here? Uber can come and say, hey, why to spend this $1.6 billion and give it to Stripe? Why can't I build it on my own? They have power, they have money. Why can't they build this on their own? To build a product like Stripe, it may not take them more than $50 million. I think that's all they need. But what is the problem here? If they want to build a system like Stripe, they have to spend at least 3 years, which means they are going to get 3 years late in the market, and someone is going to capture their share and they will lose their business. So there is an opportunity cost. When you talk about cost effectiveness, the biggest thing you have to consider from the big company's perspective is the opportunity cost. They don't mind spending more money. What they want is to go to the market as quickly as possible and capture the entire market before anyone else can do that. So for these big companies, the cost effectiveness in their mind is that they don't have to worry about this 3% anyways, because why? This is being paid by customer. They can very well say that if my service is good, they will be just increasing the price by 3% for customer, or they will be giving 3% less to the drivers, and they can still not worry about this price. Am I right? But if they get 3 years late to build this product, their entire market will be captured by Lyft. Am I right to say that? So
Yes,
when you calculate cost effectiveness, right, you have to calculate the manpower, like you said, time, research, manpower, and the outsourcing needs, right? These are the 4 things we calculate. That was very well said, Hassan there. But there is one more thing we have to consider, that is the opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is really big for these big companies. And I can give you one more example on that. So, text. So Chase came up with a feature called deposit checks from your mobile. I don't remember the year, but I think they came up with this feature first.
2015, I believe.
Sorry? What was that, Hassan? Someone said something? Okay.
I said about 2015, they came up with that app.
Yes, about 2015. I think that's what the rough timeline I had in mind. So in around that time, Chase was the first one who was offering this functionality where people can deposit check through their phones. No other banks had this capability. Okay, so what did Chase do? They advertised it so much that they were able to capture the entire market share. People who were from Bank of America, who were in Wells Fargo, they moved it away from those companies and those banks and moved it to the Chase. They moved their account to Chase. And it took them about a year and a half to 2, like for Bank of America and Wells Fargo, to catch up on that. So in those 2 years, they already lost millions of customers. Right now, it might be possible that Chase would have used some vendor behind the scene, where someone has built this capability. They just had to plug it into their software and then start offering this, or they may have created this from scratch. Who knows, right? But I'm likely to assume that it is some third party's feature that they've used it. They did not build this on their own, and then they integrated it with that, and now, because they captured the market, all those customers are with them after the Bank of America and Wells Fargo did this thing, and they already lost millions of users because of it. And now it's not a new thing anymore. So Chase took the advantage of something which was not there in the market, right? So when you work for these big companies, their cost effectiveness is being calculated in terms of what is the cost to build and outsource this. They compare it against the opportunity cost. And opportunity cost is really what is going to make the decision for them.
Or we call them market share, actually.
Market share, same. Opportunity cost or market share. Cool. So are we all aligned on this project? Do we think we at least have a baseline framework now to talk about this project now? At least we have understood the high level information on this, right? How it is going to work. These are the high level systems we need. And now we're going to start writing requirements. If we want to write business requirements for this entire project, like all the systems, there are going to be 5 or 6 different teams who will be working on this, not just our one team. And each team will have a BA and a product owner. But our goal will be to write requirements for this, our own code. Where did I go? It's this one. Our own code. This is what you will be hired for in your company. And you will be working with these people, this different system applications and their business analysts and their teams to make sure that whatever you have created or whatever your requirements are aligning with the requirements on their side.
What is own code?
What was that, Shrey?
What is our own code?
Our own code is like our company is going to build it. Systems, our or requirements, our company is going to build it.
Can you give an example?
Yep. Someone was talking about the calculation logic, that how the fares will be calculated. Someone was talking about when you start the ride and when you end the ride, right? All those things will be developed by us. We are going to create this entire mobile application. This entire mobile application that you are seeing for Uber, everything will be created by you. But whenever someone clicks on feedback, it will take them to the feedback too. Whenever someone clicks on map, it will take them to the Google's map. But to take them to the Google's map, there is a code required, right? That will be done by us. And after the Google map is opened, everything is controlled by Google.
You meant the coding language, right?
Coding language, yes. So at a high level, when you want to deliver one mobile application, these are the kind of things you need to think about. And even if it is a banking app or some other app, 60% of the systems will be common. Okay. This driver's repository and driver's information and vehicle repository, this is more of a driver's app, not customer's app. This should be part of driver's application, not customer application. Rest everything could be part of customer's application. Uber has two applications, right? One for driver and one for passenger. So this is all passenger app. Okay. So this was the foundation to start writing business requirements. So this is the discussion, or these are the questions we need to pose to our stakeholders, our team, before even we can start writing business requirements document. Right? So again, we have to create the process flow, which is this. We have to create the user journey, which is this. And we need to find out the list of systems involved. And from there on, we need to find out what is in scope for us, and we'll start writing business requirements after that. Are we good with the foundation so far?
Yes, sir.
Then I'll probably give you guys a few minutes break, I think, so that we can start this topic and we can probably end the class with it and don't have to take a break in between after that. Let's take a few minutes break quickly, and then we'll start writing the actual document from now on. And everything that we discussed in the class today, starting at 10 a.m., everything is the part of a business analyst role. Whatever we did until yesterday was everything for PO. Okay, let's take a break and we'll get started.
दुनिया देखी है, लोग पता है दुनिया में किस तरह हिसाब किताब चलता है, समझे ना। इसमें 2-3 चीजें छोड़ दी रहने की। तो ये भी कहना चाहिए था कि इस कौम की तरबियत नहीं हुई है, इन्होंने ऐसी तरबियत इस कौम की है जैसे अपनी औलाद की तरबियत की है, हराम खिला खिला के, गलत बातें बता के, गलत बातें समझा के उनको भी हरामखोर बनाया, उनको भी बुरा भला बनाया और पूरे कौम को तबाह कर दिया। सबसे बड़ा नुकसान पाकिस्तान का जो हुआ है वो ये हुआ है कि लीडरशिप नहीं थी, इसलिए मुल्क की तरबियत नहीं की, इंसान के लोगों को अच्छा बुरे की तरबियत दिखाई। देखो लोग कैसे जश्न कर रहे थे, खुशियां मना रहे थे, किस चीज की कि हमने पैसे से वोट दिए। लानत है ऐसी कौम के ऊपर, इनको चाहिए कि सड़कों पर निकले, ऐसे लोगों को घेराव करें जो लोग ये रिश्वत देते हैं, 2 नंबर के काम करते हैं। जब तक कौम नहीं उठेगी उसके अंदर कुछ भी नहीं हो सकता, सवाल ही नहीं पता था जो होता है। एक अकेला आदमी क्या कर सकता है? जाहिर है बिल्कुल नहीं कर सकता, कोई नहीं। इमरान खान अकेला क्या करेगा?
Hey everyone, I'm back. Can you all hear me?
Yes. I have a question, James. So before we create the BRD, what are we doing? The both things we're doing first.
Process flow. You have to create this process flow. I think you missed the first 15 minutes of the session, Shrey, if I'm not wrong. You do this process flow and then you create this user journey.
Okay, so user journey is the second part.
That is the same question being asked earlier in the call as well. So there is no sequence for process flow and user journey. They can go hand in hand or they can come one after another. There is no sequence there. But you absolutely have to make sure that you have a good understanding on this user journey and this process flow before you can actually start creating a business requirements document.
Okay.
So in your meetings, when you go and talk to your stakeholders, this is what you will be focusing on, what the user journey looks like and what is the process that he or she wants. And after that, you can get into the actual business requirements. But understanding this at a high level first is very important. And third thing, if you want to add, which we just discussed, right? The list of systems, this one. This is also a very important part. Just to cover these three things, you'll probably need 4 or 5 meetings. After you get this clarity, so our goal is always, right, we always look at the 50,000 feet view first when we are creating project charter. Then we bump ourselves from 50,000 feet view to 40,000, then 40,000 to 30,000, then 20,000, then 10,000, right? So it goes in the sequence. So we don't have to really go and talk about the requirements, actual individual requirements, unless we really know how the entire process is going to work. That is the first thing you should be focusing on. If someone has created that for you already, then it's even better. Just use that process flow and put it in your business requirement document. Cool. Okay, let's start on the next step. All right, so let's again go back to the user journey. So these two screens are not controlled by us, as we discussed, right? Install and open. These are app store screens. We don't control this. What we control here is that we have to make our app publishable so that people can find our app and install it from App Store. After these two screens, whatever happens in the entire flow, this is all controlled by our company. Like our company as in Uber. Uber is going to control everything from here, whether it will be Uber or Uber's vendor partner, but it will not be controlled by Apple, right? So these two screens we're not going to write requirements about. We are going to write, and the assumption would be that install and open feature will work as per Apple's expectation and is controlled by Apple. We can put that assumption if we have to. So if you see, when you go to our BRD, we have assumption section at the bottom in doc comparison here. Assumptions here. Over here, we can start listing our assumptions if we have to, right? Whenever we are typing that section. So assumption would be that install and open option will be controlled by Apple Store and it will be meeting its own requirements based on Apple Store's requirement. That's an assumption. But everything after that, it's our company. We have to create that, which will be, we'll start from. So this is how I'll start the requirements. And once again, this is the framework. Within business requirements, when you write business requirements, this is the information you need for. This is the information you need, the one in blue, for every single requirement that you've written down, whether it's in Word document or whether it's in Excel. You need to have this information. So you will have a business requirement ID, you will have a business requirement title, you'll have details for that requirement, device impacted if you want to call out, whether it's website, whether it's iPhone, whether it's Android, whether it's iPad, you can call out the device impacted if you have to. Business priority. This requirement is a high priority requirement, like the things we talked about yesterday, right? Must have, should have, could have, and would have. We can write them down here. And then at the end, comments. If there is any comment that I want to put, I can just put it here. So every single requirement that you're going to write as part of this business requirement document should have this information at a minimum. Every single requirement. Hence, I prefer Excel sheet over Word document for this. Make sense?
So are these are like Are they same for every app that we make?
Are these IDs are same? I missed the last part of it. What was the last part?
If we making any app like BRD, so it's just so like BR100 is for app download, right?
No. This is, yeah. So this is just one requirement, and that one requirement ID is BR_100. So we are going to have thousands of requirements when we create this mobile application, right?
Okay.
So at the end of the day, we have to do analysis, which requirements have gone live and which requirements have not gone live, which requirements have tested properly or which requirements have issues with that, right? So we having this ID is really vital to point out that, hey, this is the requirement I'm talking about. It's more like a roll number in our school, right? More for tracking purpose. What at the end of the day, after 1 year from now, how many requirements have been published in market and how many of them are still waiting? So it's easy to go with this ID. It's a protocol. Just assume this is more of a bureaucratic thing in company, right? And every company has its own way to create this requirement ID. So I'll just assume it's BR_100 and I'll start from there. Okay. It's a process basically. Every company has its own protocol. And once you put this ID, I'm just putting a title as app download. And then I'll say users shall be able to download the app from the Apple Store. And I can put a comment here, the install and open app options will be controlled by App Store screen. And I can put a date if I have to. Source. So this is one more thing. Sometimes information can come to you from business stakeholder. Sometimes you will have a survey. Like when you go to Taco Bell, there is a way where you submit the survey, right? What does the survey says? Hey, you can share your feedback. And in that feedback, you give some information there. You may want to enhance your application based on someone's feedback. If that's the case, that source becomes your survey. But over here, it is coming from discussion with the business expert, discussions with the subject matter expert or business stakeholder. So I'm just calling out that here. So once again, every single requirement that you write, this is, you need to know these things for every single requirement. Okay. Are we good so far? If yes, then let's go to the
Yes,
next.
sir.
All right, then let's go to the next requirement. Now this is where our actual requirements will start. Okay. So this is post download, iOS and Android app post download. Users shall be prompted with location option when they open the app first time or every time when they have selected to not share their location. And they must select one option from this. Allow, always allow only when using the app and never allow. Have you all seen this screen before while downloading an app?
Yeah.
This screen is coded by us. So our developer has to code these options. So this is a requirement for us, right? So now you will see what the pattern that is. Whatever user journey we had created, I'm going in that exact same flow. And I'm starting to capture requirements here for each of them. I've added a note here, this one, where I've said, or every time when they've selected to not share their location. Can someone tell me why did I mention this?
It asks you like all
Privacy, I mean. Privacy.
Yes. So when someone has clicked on never allow, and when you open this app, right? Even though you are not a first time user, but you still will ask that customer, hey, do you want to share your location? Because they have selected never allow before, right? Because Uber will not work if you cannot share your location. Uber cannot work. Uber apps will not work. They need to know where you are, so driver can come to you and pick you up from where you are. So you cannot select never allow. If you have selected never allow, you will not be able to use the app. Or you can use the app only when they have selected allow only using these two options, always allow or allow only when using the app. In these two places, they will be able to use the Uber application and request for a ride. If they've selected never allow, then we have to ask them this option again. Okay. So that's the essence of putting this thing in the bracket. Next requirement. For the first time users, app should prompt the user to select the type of notifications he or she would like to receive. Push notification, SMS notifications, or none. Do you guys understand the difference between push notification and SMS notification?
I mean, text notification, you mean? Is that what it is? SMS?
Text. So this is text notification, and this is the one that when you pull up your when you're on iPhone, right? You pull down your list like this using your upper thumb, right? Whatever comes in, everything is push notification there. But when you get an actual SMS, that's called SMS notification. They are two different type of notifications. Okay, and third could be email notification if we have to. We can add here if we have to. Third could be email notification. And last would be none. I don't want to receive any notification. Customers can choose this option if they have to. We have to provide this option. If we don't provide this option, it can be a problem. Customer can sue us that we have sent an SMS or email to that person without their consensus. And we can be sued for millions of dollars for that, because it's like soliciting a customer. Okay, so these first two requirements were first two screens. Which screens? We had this two screens here, right? It was for that. Now I'm going to the next screen. So passengers shall be able to sign up and provide their basic information in the order listed below once they have downloaded the app. So they can click on sign up. They can say, they can put their first name, last name, phone number, email ID, password, and confirm password. Now it's up to us if we want to ask them for password or not. If we decide to not ask for password, then they will just enter this 4 information and they will receive a verification code after that. Right? So this is how you write the business requirement. The next one is here, submit. Passengers shall be able to submit the sign up information if all information provided by him or her is valid. Which means all the information provided here is valid, then only customer can submit the information. Otherwise, it will just throw an error and that information will never let them move forward in the process. Is it making sense? So basically everything that you see in the user journey here and in the process flow here, you're going to write these things down in plain English. And I'm sorry I have to go through so many screens, like 5 or 6 different screens, but this is exactly how you're going to present yourself in the office. Because you cannot have everything in one Excel sheet here. There are different tools that we are using for everything, and people do know in the company, and you are allowed to go back and forth. Okay. So passengers shall be able to submit the sign up information, and the next one is password match. On the sign up screen, confirm password and actual password should always match. Do you think that's a fair requirement? Next, on the sign up screen, confirm password and actual password should always be masked. Next is the password criteria. Password criteria should be displayed on the sign up screen so a user knows the minimum password requirements, which is one capital letter, one small letter, one special character, one number, no commas, no period, no underscore, and at least 8 characters in length. Next one is phone number. Users shall be able to submit the sign up information if, sorry, I think I skipped this one. User shall not be able to submit the sign up information if confirmed password and actual password does not match, which means that if it matches only after that, they will be able to move to the next step. Next step is phone number should be of 10 digit and one-time password verification code will be triggered after a user provides the valid US phone number. It can prompt you for country code if we are unable to access user's location automatically. So when you're entering your phone number, you can just put your US phone number because you have allowed mobile application to access your device. So they know that you are from US. But if you're not allowed users to, sorry, if you've not allowed mobile application to access your location, then your application will not know from which country you are. So it will ask you to enter country code. Make sense? Now, valid phone number requirements. Phone number, this information can be given to you from your developer or your marketing company. So phone number provided must be a valid number. For example, it should not contain numbers between 7 to 9. The first digit should not be 7 to 9. The rest 9 digit can contain any number between 0 to 9. The mobile number can have 11 digits also by including 0 at the starting. Mobile number can be of 12 digits also by including 91 at the starting. So there is a space constraint. They will, based on your device location, you can either enter a 9-digit phone number, 10-digit phone number, or 6-digit phone number, based on your country's location and the criteria in that company, in that country. So we need to call out those requirements when we're talking about the when you're talking about the phone number, so that developers know that they have to put these rules in place when they are creating our application. Make sense?
Just a clarification. So the reason you're doing it, so if they want to use it globally, they can utilize the same app. They don't have to amend or add anything.
Yes. To make it easy, right? How easy it is. See, when you are, if you have shared your location, they exactly know that you're from US and they're expecting for a US number. If you are in India for some reason, and or any other Asian country, right? You're traveling, and your phone number is US phone number, you will never receive this OTP, one-time password, because they will not send you that overseas unless you have message service enabled on your phone. Internationally, you will not able to receive this.
But this can be switched by switching the country, like in the app, like, you know, when you switching the country.
You can do that. You can do that, Shrey, if you want to. But again, that's a requirement, right? If our business folks says that we want this, then we can build it for them. If they say that they don't want this and they don't want to make it complicated in the first rollout, then we can just leave it that way for now. Every suggestion that we're going to give in, it's going to add up some work for our development team. And that's a really good suggestion. We can give them an option when you are in different country that, hey, we are finding that you are not in US right now. Do you want to add another phone number and request a ride right now? It's an excellent suggestion. We can always bring that up to our business team. And if they agree, we can add that. Cool. I'll take a pause here just for a few minutes, just to make sure that you guys understood the framework on how to write business requirements and what is being asked in that. So every single thing that I've written here is a question to my business stakeholder. When I meet with him or her in the meetings, I go over this information one by one and I confirm that, hey, this is what you're looking for here. This is my recommendation. We are always allowed to give our recommendations. Hey, that I think we should be doing it this way. But the person who can confirm this will be a product owner or a product manager or a subject matter expert. Business analyst is not allowed to make a decision that it should be this way. We can always give our suggestions though. Okay. So you might be thinking that how are we able to think through this flow and these questions, right? So first thing is, that is the reason we have created user journey and process flow for. The moment you look at the process flow and user journey, now you know you have to break it down step by step and talk about each requirement here. And another way is to look at this high level information. So if you see on the top here, we have talked about, let me copy and paste. I've added some new things. Okay, so when you're writing business requirements, right? When you're going into the meetings with your business stakeholder, what kind of questions you should be asking? So we've already created this as is and to be process flow, right? We have already created the user journey that is taken care of. So I'm highlighting that in bold. Business rules. Every business has rules, right? These are unique from project to project, from company to company, from business to business. When someone says business rules, what kind of things you can think about? Let's talk about the auto insurance. We all have auto insurance, right? When we talk about business rules for auto insurance, what are they?
liability coverage.
Yes. When you talk about liability coverage, what under that? What do you mean by that? So business rule for liability coverage is what? If you hit someone's car, right? That car will be covered, but your car will never be covered, no matter what. That's a business rule. If you go for a comprehensive coverage, when your car hits someone else's car, right? Or someone else's car hits your car, in either case, both the cars are covered. It's
Yes,
a
that's a, sorry, go ahead. I'm so sorry. So
that's
you're talking about between third party and comprehensive coverage. Third party is when you cover liability on the other end, right? When you hit somebody.
Yeah, I think there are two different type of insurance. I may not be using right words here. I think there is one insurance that you can take where you are free to choose to not cover your own car, but you absolutely have to cover other person's car and others property. If there is any damage happens there, then your insurance should cover that. And if you don't have that, then you are if you don't have that, then you are actually violating US's law.
Yeah, there is third party coverage.
Yeah. And if you have a loan, auto loan on your car, then you have to take insurance for your car protection as well.
Yes, that's comprehensive coverage, I believe.
Yes. So these are business rules, right? These are not technology specific. These are business rules. This is what drives your business, correct? In our case, when you talk about Uber, what are the rules we have? So when someone wants to become a driver, that person has to have I don't know right now if it is true or not, but there was something called a medallion license, like some kind of permit they have to have before they can give a cab service to someone. So that's a business rule. Every driver who is being assigned or will be part of this US Uber app market, they have to have a license. Second, they all should have a valid driver license. If they don't have a driver's license valid, or if it is expiring, it will not let them access the app, or it will not let them book any ride after that. Everyone who is offering a ride from US have to have social security number. Am I right? So these are some business rules. People who are choosing to become drivers, they should not have any criminal history. They should not have any DUI. Do you think these are all business rules?
Yes, yes.
Right? So we will not know these business rules. When we join the company, we will not know these rules. So when we talk with our business stakeholders or subject matter expert, we have to ask them, hey, what are some of the business rules we can think about for this project? And we need to write down these business rules here as type of requirements. So I will define this business requirement section here, this one section into 17 different categories. It will have 17 subsections. Within each section, I'm going to write these requirements. Is it making sense to you now? For Uber application, for our customers, what are the business rules? That Uber will provide service only in the serviceable area. That is one business rule. Second would be customer, like passenger, when they book a ride. I'm thinking about some business rules. I think we had a lot of business rules for drivers app and a lot of business rules for the auto insurance that we talked about. What are the business rules that will be applicable for a passenger? There could be one rule that I can think of that is really, really valuable for Uber. A lot of people, when they're drunk, they request for a ride from Uber, right? Like we can rate a driver can also rate a passenger. And if driver says that this passenger is not a good passenger for this and this reasons, Uber can actually ban that customer to use the mobile application or requesting ride from them. Am I right? Because that's a business rule that I do not want anyone who is a bad passenger to book a ride from my mobile application because it can put my company in danger. And it can also put my drivers in danger. Like you want to protect your passenger, you also have to protect your drivers, right? Otherwise, it will be a problem. You always have to balance it on both the sides. Whenever that balance is uneven, your business will start sinking. So do you guys think that's a good business rule?
Certainly, yes, it is.
What else someone can think about? I'm not an expert, right? I'm not a taxi cab expert. I'm just trying to think what could be a business rule here. You guys are more than welcome to share your thoughts as well.
What about the number of people, in the sense that, if I'm requesting a ride,
Awesome requirement.
I can't be the only person. What if there's another person? So if there are two people, there has to be a system where the customer has to inform that there are two people or more than two people.
So Nisha, the point that you made is excellent point, and I think it's very huge. And let's write down this. I think this is really important. Let me. I already have the sections here, but I'm going at the bottom right now, and then I'll start from there. Business rules. So the first one, we said that passengers with poor rating should not be allowed to book a ride or use any of Uber services. Okay, so the point that you made, Nisha, it's an excellent one. So I think there are a lot of restrictions there. So what you are calling out here is, the first is that how many passengers, right? So you said 2 passengers should be always there. What was your suggestion there?
No, so I mean, if I'm the only one who's requesting a ride, what if I have another person? Is that allowed? So maybe
Ride sharing.
Ride sharing, yeah.
Provide ride sharing is not allowed when customers or when passengers, let's use passenger, we have to be consistent on the type of user we are using. Ride share is not allowed when passengers have requested individual rides.
I think the most important thing is illegal activities for the customers.
No drinking or smoking in car.
No, I mean drug distribution and all those kind of things I'm talking about. I can take an Uber ride and start dropping off stuff.
But it's very hard to find out those intentions, right? So I think we can say no drinking or smoking or
Mask.
I think it's a legal language. This is where you will need your legal team to draft this requirement. You can say should not entertain any type of passengers who have criminal instincts or criminal agenda.
Background?
Sorry?
Criminal background?
Criminal, no, I'm talking about not just a background right now. Background is over here, right? That passengers with poor rating, or we can say criminal. How would we know person has a criminal background or not? There is no way to find that out. For drivers, we can find it out based on the driver's license number. For customers, we cannot. This is more about, hey, if someone has a drug within them, we should not allow them to sit in the car. We have a right to refuse that customer, right? There is no way to find this in the mobile application, but drivers have this right to not entertain these rights, right? So should not entertain any type of drivers. I can put it here. Drivers are allowed to not entertain any type of passengers who may have criminal agenda or who they suspect are dealing with drugs.
But this is like a last minute decision they have to make.
Yes. So
they're right over there.
We can summarize it as a criminal intent. So that could be like, I can take a Uber ride and go rob a bank. Yep. The driver would know.
Yeah.
Have you tried that, Hassan?
Yeah, I did, and I failed. Just kidding, just kidding.
So again, guys, so our thought is I want to make you aware about one thing. We will not get clinged to our thoughts here. Our goal is only one. We identify that this is a question which we need to ask to someone.
Proper attire, maybe?
Definitely, definitely. That is, proper attire is one thing. I can also think you cannot have kids younger than 15 years old traveling on their own.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Because then it'll be unaccompanied minors, and that's against the law anyway. You have
Yep.
to have somebody with you.
Number of passengers.
Or a car seat with you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pets also. Pets.
Then the number of available seats in the car. Right? So see, these are all business rules. You guys are following now. We need to write these things down. Right? So we need to write this business rules so that, because these rules will drive your business requirements, will drive your mobile experience. Right? If someone is selecting sedan and says that I want to make, I have 7 passengers to seat, like I have a family of 7 people and I'm just ordering sedan, do you think I will be able to fit them? I will not be able to, right? So Uber will not even book that ride.
How about carrying merchandise or carrying suitcases and all? They're supposed to have, they have to define if they're traveling or going to the airport.
I can certainly tell this one thing, that I have not thought about all these business rules prior to this class. This is the first time thinking about so many business rules. And I think you guys have given me interesting examples, and that makes me think that there are like tons of requirements here, like so many rules that we can't even imagine right now. And
yeah, like minimum wait time. How long does the driver need to wait?
Wait, baggage requirement is what I think Hassan was mentioning.
No, I was saying minimum wait time for the driver. Like the driver will wait maybe for 5 minutes or 10 minutes max, and if the customer doesn't show up, then he can leave.
Mm-hmm. But again, when we are defining this requirement, we need to be careful about what's for passenger and what's for driver.
Okay, I think this is very important. The address is supposed to be brick and mortar buildings, not like picking up somebody from the highway or a hitchhiker. For your safety, for the driver safety.
Right?
Well, how can you control that? Because if there's an accident and you need a ride.
Yeah, I can see your point.
Right?
So that's why you need to allow your location. People can.
But at the same time, I remember what I just said, robbing a bank, I can pick it. Okay, so I'm going to give you a simple example. My younger brother used to deliver a pizza back in New York when he was going to college. And twice he got robbed because people order a pizza delivery, and when he took it up there, they robbed him. So that's driver safety.
Yes, and guys, these are absolutely great questions, but that is the reason we have one team called legal and compliance in our company, and they have all the rights to question these requirements or go with these requirements. Again, we can give these suggestions. We will let legal and compliance and subject matter expert to make these decisions as a BA. Cool. So, and please remember, we're just trying to build our muscle right now. This is to give you an example what kind of business rules we have to think through. And every business will have some kind of business rules. Like for mortgage company, they will have their own business rules. For personal loans, for auto insurance, for airlines industry, they all have their own rules. So whenever we work on any project, we need to absolutely understand what are business rules, because these rules are going to drive customers' experience in the mobile app. Right? It is your job as a BA to find out that, hey, this business rule is affecting this requirement, which is contradictory. If business rule states this, we cannot have a requirement like this. Right? So that is the analysis that you have to do from your side. But thought is that we have to make sure that we ask this question, business rules. Remember, I was saying this yesterday, that when you will go and talk to your business stakeholders or subject matter expert, you will at least have 70% questions ready, that what you need to ask. Why was I so confident? This is the list for that. This is the flow you have to go into. If you go with this flow, I can guarantee you, you will end up covering so many requirements that no one has ever think through in the company. And this list is not available anywhere in the entire world. It is a self-created list based on my experience, and this is what I use for my interviews as well, and I use to answer these things in my interview. Like exactly high-level process flow, calculation logic, error scenarios. This is how I go by. And I have taken so many interviews of a business analyst, being at a senior position, and for a product owner, nobody actually gives this list. When you ask them what is business requirement, they'll struggle to answer that. They'll say, hey, we just ask for high level business requirements, some functional, it is not functional, and they'll just go into this zone. But there is no concrete example. This is the example. You will exactly talk about this. And this is high level calculation logic. Okay. So business rules, do we all understand now? Are we good? So I have a startup called Easy Nesting. It's in Dallas area here. We are more like Uber for home services. Okay. So what we do is all the home services that we have, we are actually combining that and offering just a package price to our customers here in Dallas area. So for this business, when we created the mobile application, what were our business rules? I cannot let customer change their address without talking to me. So the biggest business rule I had in my company is for that reason. Why? Because when customer changes their property, my prices are going to change. I don't know whether I'm providing service in that area or not, right? So when I provide them the service for weed control, for lawn fertilizer, for carpet cleaning, for window cleaning, all these services are subject to change based on where you are located at, and the prices will change for them as well. Do you guys agree? So the biggest rule that I had in my side was I will never allow customers to change their address on their own. So in my mobile application, customers cannot change their address. Second, whenever I see that the credit card is expired, I will not let them book any services. Why? Because if they book a service for window cleaning, and if it's $300 service, and if the credit card is expired, when I try to charge, they have an authority over me now to not give me my money. Am I right? So when I created this mobile application, I first looked up this. I did the exact same thing. I created this user journey, process flow, and then I started creating this requirements document and started looking at the business rules. Then I created the calculation logic for each service and different type of variations within the property. How could I charge customer without having them to call me or without talking with them manually? I wanted to automate that process. So I was able to come up with a calculation where I have created a small calculator. Customers choose things on their own, and it automatically tells them what is the price for that service. Right? Uber also needs this. Do you guys agree? What is Uber's calculation logic? I took this screenshot.
And I think destination, right? Time and the mileage.
There is a lot more than that, Hassan. Not just that. One of the biggest business rules I forgot to capture here was our pets. This is the business policy, right? Are pets allowed? So over here, if you look at this, Uber's calculation is based on these things, not just from and to address or distance. It talks about Uber, whether it's UberX, whether it's Uber with pet, whether it's hourly, whether there is a base fare, there is a long pickup fee, there is a per minute to pickup fee, there is a per mile to pickup, cancellation fee, rider no-show fee, thousands of fees that you see here that you can't even imagine. So with all these values, the final amount comes here and your promotion code at the end. So this calculation logic will not be created by you. If you remember in our process flow, we said that there is a sub process for calculating fare. This is the process flow that we have. If you remember, over here I have this sub process, right? Service and fare validation process. Every company has a dedicated team to manage their pricing information, whether it's mortgage, interest rate, whether it's whether it's airlines fare, whether it's the auto insurance fare, whether it's the calculation for Uber kind of application. Every company has a dedicated pricing team to manage this information across the world or across the nation. Okay, because they understand pricing really well. They cannot, every company has a restriction that they can only offer like So if you know, I did not know this before, but now I know this, that when there is a storm, stores are not allowed, local stores are not allowed to bump up their price by more than 25 to 30%. Something on those lines. So if there is a if there is a weather storm, and like we had a couple of weeks ago, right, in Dallas area, Walmart had an option that Walmart can say the things that I was selling for $1, I'll probably sell it for $10 now. I know that people are in need and they're going to pay me $10. The moment someone finds Walmart doing that, Walmart can get sued for it. Walmart cannot increase that price to more than $1.30. That's a business rule. It's a government rule that they have created for entire US, right? Like that, every company, there are so many other pricing restrictions that you have. You can only offer so much low price or so much high price. So if your company is offering, let's say the interest rate, mortgage interest rate is around 6% right now, okay? And I just want to crash the market. I'll say, hey, I'll just offer 1% as a company. You cannot do that. You have a minimum and maximum range given by government, and you have to play within that. So your pricing team is the dedicated team who understands this rule to make sure that your company doesn't get in trouble, and they are the ones who control these things. There is a surge charge in Uber, right? When there is a high demand, your prices will be increased than the price that you're seeing here. Correct? So before you see this, there is a lot of logic that goes behind it to do the calculation logic. So we will not be calculating that. What we are going to do is we're going to work with the team. We're going to tell them, hey, we want to show fares like this price to our customer. It's your duty to make sure that we are showing this right price. Let us know which field we have to use to show this information. And that's all. You'll stop there. But you see, there is a whole different project here. It's such a big project, right? To come up with this calculation logic, it can take you months. And that too, not just for US. I'm talking about the entire world. If you want to do that, this is like probably a few years project. So they have dedicated teams to handle this. So that's what we talk about, high level calculation logic. High level process flow, I think we already created that, the 2B process flow. Process flow is the high level process flow here. Now I can talk about error scenarios. I think someone on the call mentioned about error scenarios. Give me 2 minutes. Let me come back to that. Let me cover a few other things that we have here before we go into that deeper discussion. High level mockups. Can someone tell me what is this?
You mean the artificial scenarios?
No. High level mockups are this. Remember, we were talking about wireframes, mockups, and prototypes. This is a user journey because this is how all the mockups are connected with each other. But this itself is one mockup. This is one mockup. This is one mockup. So you need to put all these mockups in your document, in your Word document, or in your Excel sheet when you're writing these requirements. So that's why your user journey is so important to you. If you don't have user journey, you will not have all this information. Is it making sense now?
Can you repeat that?
So mockups is anything that you create. If there is a page is involved in the mobile application, right? You create that page on your own. So how can I create a mockup? Let me give you an example. I'm in Visio here. I want to create a mockup. Okay. I'll just go here. I'll add a new tab. I'll just show you how can I create a mockup. I'll just use this. In the search, I can type web. I will create a mockup for a web page now. Okay. Let me show you how. This is the web page icon. I don't want to use this. I want to use On this page, I want to put a homepage icon first. Then I want to put some elements. So this is my mockup. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a page that is being required for this project. I'm giving that mockup to them so that people know that how this mockup should look like. From this mockup, designers will take this mockup and create a beautiful page, like the actual page the way customers is going to see. I don't have to worry about the exact amount of inches or centimeter they should be away from this border, or exact amount of differences between these two fields, like how much distance should be there, right? How long this field should be. If you're opening in iPhone 10, this should be a little more expanded. If you're opening in Android Samsung phone, this should be a little more different way shown, and all those things will be done by UX designer. I just tell them that this page should have this basic information, and this is the mockup for that. So for every single page involved here in your user journey, you had so many screens, right? You had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So for all these 13 pages, you will provide a mockup like this. That's mockup. So in your business requirement document, when you create that, after you have to provide these high level mockups for the entire project.
Then you gave us, sorry to interrupt, but you gave us a reference of that website.
Rover.
Yeah.
This is the one that I was talking about yesterday, right?
Yes.
This is not mockup. This is designers have created this screens after looking at the mockups. And as I said yesterday, we cannot use this exact screenshots in our company, but we have to create something like this. Looking at this, we have to go to Visio and create something out of it, because we cannot. This is a hack. No one needs to know this. This is a secret recipe, as I said yesterday, right? So you look at this screen. Okay, sign up screen should have what information? Sign up screen should have first name, last name, email ID, country code, and password, right? So I'll be creating this exact same mockup you are using Visio. And designers.
So we are using a template.
Sorry?
We are using the idea, this template as an idea for our mockups.
This is just for an idea. Because you cannot put in copy paste this. Get capturing it from somewhere. And based on your requirements, things will change here, right? Like based on your business rules and some other things, your things will change in this screen. This is just for your reference, but you can get a really good reference on this. The entire flow is there, right? For application. So we have to provide these mockups for entire project that we are going to work on, right? Now, do you guys think that it is so much work? This is the reason they hire a BA. They give you 2 months to do all this work, so that you work with people. So your work is really heavier. Once you define these things, nobody in the company would know this project better than you. That's your USP, because you are the brain behind writing this book, and nobody understands this project the way you are going to understand this. And that is the reason that your value in your company would be really high, and nobody is going to fire you for another 12 to 14 months. Because nobody has time to go through this information again or come up with this expertise. Cool. Let's go to the next one, threshold conditions. Threshold conditions is minimum and maximum. As I said before, you cannot request for a ride which is less than 0.1 miles, or you cannot request for a ride which is more than 5,000 miles. You cannot request for a ride which is not in US, or you cannot request for a ride which is less than 50 cents or more than $1 million, right? These are all minimum and maximum conditions. You need to talk to your subject matter expert and come up with this minimum and maximum conditions. You can't charge someone's credit card with $1 million, right? You cannot. So this is the requirement that we need to discuss. And let's go back to our list again. Where did we stop? And we'll continue from there. I think I've captured these examples at the bottom. So we were at number 23, 22 and 23. This is where we were. Any questions before I go and start discussing about these requirements again? And guys, good thing is that they need a person who's going to do this job, and we exactly know how to get these things done. And you don't have to really worry about that. Hey, how would I capture this information at the company? We will be providing you offline support, so don't worry about that. That is the first thing. And second thing, that we know what we have to ask. Right? Isn't that a good thing? That when you're going at the company, you're not blank. Hey, what question should I ask? You exactly know what to ask and when to ask now. Right? So all you're doing is just putting together these thoughts in PowerPoint, talk to your stakeholders and ask them this question. They will give you these answers, and you just capture those answers, and that will become your business requirements document. And you're going to just shine in your company, because I can guarantee you more than 90% BAs are not even going to ask these questions. They are so much busy in their own life that they do not even have a framework to talk to anyone. And I'm saying this from my experience working with them for the last 12 years. Right? So that's why I'm super confident that when you go and follow this framework, I can guarantee you that you're going to shine in your company. This is what you should be answering in the interview when you're writing business requirements and how you write it. And this is what you need to ask in your office when you start your job. These are 17 questions. And as I said, this 17 can become very well 200 questions from this. If you ask someone 200 questions, just imagine how much would you know about the project. If I ask 200 questions about a person, how much would I know about that person? Right? So that is our strength. Curiosity, inquisitiveness, and framework to ask these questions is going to make us an extraordinary resource in our company when we go and work.
So we're going to be doing that at different levels, right?
Yes.
Like sitting with the legal team separate,
Yep.
then doing it with other teams separately.
Separately. You will have to have so many meetings before you can actually have all this information. And even when you start writing this, you can still schedule meetings with them. Hey, I have this question now. What should we do about this? Right? But we have to be careful about only one thing. We should not ask unwanted questions to another person. We need to understand that what questions should we ask to this person and what questions should I need to ask to another department. That clarity you need to have in your head. And that's where I'll be helping you when you will start your job. And also as part of this requirements document that we're creating, you'll know what questions to ask when. Right? That's more important. All these questions are important, but you cannot go and talk to legal team and ask, hey, what is the password criteria? Why would they be worried about it? This is something you need to ask to your security team and your business stakeholder. What kind of criteria you want to put in? Right? So we need to choose our audience and then address that question, as opposed to addressing every single question to every single audience. That's a little more difficult, but asking and coming up with these questions is not that difficult. Am I making sense?
But is this the framework that we'll be following for any document, like any project that we'll be creating?
It's been 12 years I'm following this framework for my company that I've worked with on. I've worked with on almost how many 80 or 90 projects now.
Okay.
This framework I did not have on day one, but what you see here, I keep updating this row number 9 after every month or two, because I learned something new at my office and I capture it here. This is my checklist. And I have never failed to shine in my company when I'm doing analysis for my project. The words that people have thrown at me, or you are super thorough. We have never seen anything like this before in our company, and we've never got this level of information. The moment you get into these details, your testers are going to be extremely happy, your QA team and your developers, because they need to know all this information, which people do not provide to them. And I'm able to provide this in such a short amount of time because I have a framework for myself. Right? So this is the thing I follow in my company as well. And of course, this is a secret weapon. I don't share it with everyone. But yeah, I am obliged to share it with you all as you're part of this class. And I wanted to make sure that you know about this.
So you mean the preparedness, like how prepared you are before you go and into any new project? Is that what it is, right?
Yep. Because mostly you're going to work on new projects and uncertain situations where people do not know anything about the project. How would you tackle that scenario, right? This is the idea to tackle that scenario. I can tell you I've worked with people who have 15, 20 years of experience in development, in testing, in BAs, and so many other places, right? But working with uncertain situations is altogether a different skill set. It's very difficult for you to work and find out your own way when you don't know something. So why do we have this row number 9 created here? We do not know anything about the project. How are we making sure that we know everything about this project? Well, this is the reason. We are going to go through 17 different sections. We're going to ask this exact same questions in 10 different ways to over 10 different stakeholders, and then I will know everything about this project. Right? So this row number 9, you will keep hearing me throughout the class that I will refer you back to this row number 9 again and again. This is extremely important. If possible, I would go to a level where you can literally rectify this thing. This is not available anywhere in the world. Again, I'm not trying to brag about myself, but I know what I'm providing here. If you know this column and this cell and this cell information, in your interview, you're going to really excel.
But you did, Brad.
Sorry?
I'm joking.
Oh, okay. All right. I did not hear the part anyways, but I think it's good that you were joking. All right. So let's go back to our business requirements document and let's start looking at it. So we were stuck on row number 22 and we'll go from here now. So users shall be able to submit the sign up information, and I'll be sharing this information with you also. Don't worry. You'll be getting this spreadsheet. So don't type anything right now. Please pay attention here. Users shall be able to submit the sign up information only after all valid information is provided and terms and conditions are accepted. Something you may not know right now, but I can tell you at office, legal team is extremely sensitive about terms and conditions for any application that we're going to build, and for a valid reason, right? They want to make sure what customers are agreeing to and what customers are not agreeing for, right? So there is always a link that says terms and conditions. When you click on that link, there is a list of terms and conditions that comes up. So legal team is going to provide you those terms and conditions, but we have to make sure that we create a link on that application where people can click on that link and able to review the terms and conditions. Not only that, we also want to make sure that when customers have signed up, we capture their signature that they've agreed to these terms and conditions on 7th of March at 12:32 p.m. CST. Why? Because if customer goes back and sues us that, hey, I received a text on my phone, it's a promotional text, I did not give Uber a right to send me this text message. I can go back and refer them, hey, this is the terms and conditions you have signed up for when you were signing through our application, and you have given us that permission. And this is a very rare scenario, but one customer like this can take away like millions of dollars from the company. And at the end, a lot of customers will get benefit out of it because they can either sue them or they will get some compensation for that. One of the biggest example I can give you right now is about Grubhub. Have you all heard about Grubhub delivery?
Yes, sir. And even Wells Fargo. You remember the Wells Fargo?
Wells Fargo? What, I don't know. What was the recent case about it? What was that?
It was 5, 6 years ago. They did the account, opening account without customer concern.
Oh, okay. That's a big red flag.
Yes, it was a big one.
What Grubhub did was recently they identified that when customers are tipping a driver, right, the tip is actually going towards the platform, which means towards Grubhub, not to the driver. So I'm sure this would have been captured somewhere in their terms and conditions and all. But just imagine that Grubhub is being used for last 10 years and they have done billions of deliveries. right? So for all those deliveries, if there was a tip provided, that all tip goes to Grubhub, not to driver, which is kind of unfair, but maybe it was their business model. So someone sued them for that. They were made responsible to go back to all 10 billion orders that they had made before, go back and dispatch that delivery, that the tip fee that they had to every single person who had done the delivery with them. Not only they had to do that, but on top of that, they have to pay the compensation, and they were fined for millions of dollars. So just one single requirement can bring down your entire company. So you're talking about billions of dollars right now, right? If one in your 10 billion rides, if customers have given you just $1 tip, it is $10 billion in its own. I'm just making up some numbers. I don't remember those exact numbers, but I recently saw this probably a few months ago, that there was a big noise around it, right? So that's why your legal team is really cautious, and you want to make sure that every single customer who have signed up from your account have given you access to their terms and conditions. I mean, have accepted terms and conditions. At the same time, you have captured the timestamp of it. That is why I've had this requirement. Our system should store this timestamp when this user has accepted terms and conditions. Users shall not be able to submit the sign up information if information is invalid. First time users shall be presented with OTP screen, one-time password screen to enter the verification code once the valid sign up information is provided, which is the next screen, right? Once you provide your first name, last name, you click on next, it will give you your verification code. For repeating users, users shall not be presented with the one-time password screen because they already verified their phone number. I don't want to do that again. First time users shall be prompted to enter the credit card information after the OTP is verified, which is the next step is to enter the credit card information. And in credit card screen, this is what they're going to ask for. First name, last name, credit card number, expiration date, CVC, zip code, and billing address. We can add one more thing here if we have to. Let's go back in doc comparison. Repeat customer, duplicate email ID. So these are all possible scenarios. Whenever you're working on any application, you always have to find out the type of users, which is if user is downloading your app first time, or this user already has an app and now try to log in, which is a second time user, or this is a repeat customer, or there is a duplicate account for this user. These are always some scenarios that you want to think about, right? I'll copy this and put it here as well. So if you guys see, I keep expanding this list, right? I learned so much when I teach people. At the same time, I learn so much when I'm in the office. So do you guys feel that your role is justified now? Do you think this is a joke to create this document? It takes so much energy, right? This is the main reason you're getting paid for. That's why I'm saying that you cannot afford to not understand this, right? It's okay to not master this technique, but we need to know how to create this document. This is really important. So in the credit card, these are the fields being asked. It should accept which types of credit card. This is the business rule. It should accept MasterCard, Discover, Amex, and Visa. Now I'm talking about the login feature, like for the second time users. Users shall be able to log in after they provide valid email ID and password. Users should get an account lock message when they provide invalid credentials for 5 consecutive attempts. Do you guys understand this requirement? You guys might have seen that when you are putting wrong code in your Apple phone, it locks your phone. Like after 5 attempts, it wipes, it does a temporary lock. After 10 attempts, your entire phone will be wiped off. Do you guys know this?
Yes, sir. I think this must be a security.
Yes, it's a security concern. For your banking application, I think if you do it 3 times in a row, you are gone. Your account is locked. And Now this could be cultivated in a different way. 3 attempts from 3 different devices or from the same device. Right? Usually it's the same device. Like when you're doing 3 invalid attempts in the same device within 1 minute time frame or 2 minutes time frame, your account will be locked. So this is regarding that security requirement. User should get an account lock message when they provide invalid credentials for X number of attempts in the same device. User should be able to request for a reset my password if they have to. This is all for login feature now. Whatever we had above was all for sign up process. This is all for login now. User should be able to request for an email ID registered with us in the event he or she has forgotten the email ID being registered in the beginning. If someone forgets their email ID, there should be a way to retrieve that. User should see a message when he or she tries to log in with an invalid email ID or password, which is the error scenario. User should be, this is an error scenario, this one, row number 35, and this is also an error scenario, row number 32, right? Those are error scenarios. User should be able to select sign up option in case he or she has not registered with us yet. Okay, that's fine. We just have to provide a link for sign up there. On whenever you try to sign up, whenever you try to log in, there is always a link at the bottom that says not registered yet, click on sign up, right? That is the link I'm talking about here. User should be able to select remember me so that they have to log in next time, so that they don't have to log in next time. We can do this if we have an option, remember me. Selecting this will help system remember email ID and password. Users should be notified in an email that his or her account is being accessed from another browser or device. Do you guys agree with this? Do you guys like this or you guys don't like this? If you see that your Bank of America's account has been accessed by someone else, someone is notifying you. Isn't it a good thing?
Certainly it is.
But if we don't write it here, nobody's going to build this for us. If we only write it here, then only it will be developed. User should be notified in SMS that his or her account is being accessed from. So there is an email notification and there is an SMS notification. If you guys see this, right? If a user has already selected remember me on a specific browser or device, then he or she would be navigated to Uber home screen directly. Which is if I have selected remember me, if I click on Uber app, it will take me to this home screen directly, because it does not require for any other password or anything else, right? I just have additional login requirements here. You can have Face ID recognition, fingerprint validation, passport validation. There is a session timeout that if you're on that screen for like 60 minutes and don't do anything, it will automatically log you out. Right? These are all additional requirements that can come in. So if you're remembering this list, we are already at more than 70 or 80 questions. Do you guys agree? I'm on 44 plus whatever we have discussed previously. Do you guys feel that we're already at 70, 80 questions now?
I think it's more than 70 or 80 questions.
It's even better if it is more, but I was at least using some minimum number here. And whatever we have described here, all this until row number 44, it will blow up your mind when we're going to talk about functional requirements document. This 40 requirements will translate into additional 100 requirements when we will be writing functional requirements document. So far we are discussing this, right? We had discussed project charter, this one, column A, and we are discussing column B today. Column A was discussed yesterday. Column B is what we're discussing today. Later on in the class, we'll be discussing column D. And then we'll talk about F and column H. So just imagine the type of documentation. When you're going to write this column D, this 44 requirements will very well become 100 requirements or even more than that. Because we are not just looking at the 17 questions at this time, we are looking at this list, this big list. So let's go back though. Homepage. Any questions so far on the sign up and login?
No.
Now, one good thing is that when you're going to work on a new project, if they ask for sign in and sign up option, all you have to do is come here, look at these requirements, ask this exact same questions to them. Because for 99% all the companies, these are the valid requirements for a sign up and a sign in login process. It's not very different than what you see here. There will be just one more addition that you can have an option for Facebook or Google login, like Gmail login. That's it. But all these requirements are going to be common for any mobile application, for any website as well. Do you guys think it's safe to assume that? Question would be that how long you, how many of you think that we'll be working on login projects? I can tell you in my 12 years of career, I've worked on login projects for at least 5 times because we're building systems from scratch. So login is the first thing that you will have to make, right? Okay, let's take a quick break quick pause here. Any questions before I go to homepage? And then I'm going to give you an assignment at the end of the class after covering the homepage.
What would be the assignment?
I'll probably walk you through that in some time. I first want to cover the homepage.
So it means they're going to be more than one BA in one project who's
Yes.
doing different scenarios or different steps of the whole app.
This Uber mobile application, how many departments we had here? On the top list of how many of them we had here? List of companies. It's so difficult to navigate Excel sheet. This one. So we had at least 12 departments here, right? You will at least have 8 to 10 BAs. At least 8 to 10 BAs in the company. For this. If you ask me about Uber right now, Uber might have more than 100 BAs in their company.
And you're going to have a meeting with the president, CEO, then you're going to have a meeting with BAs as well, just to interact and try to couple down the whole app, like your spot to the next one, to the third one,
Yep.
right?
And you also to tell them, you also to keep them posted on what you are building, what your team is doing, so that if there is an impact on their team, they find out that and they schedule that work. Otherwise, when you're going to go live, they'll raise their voice, and now you're in trouble because your app delivery will be delayed since they have not completed their work. That is what I mean by dependencies here. So there is a way, not here. If you go to doc comparison, at the bottom we are capturing dependencies. So what teams are dependent on your work, and you are dependent on what teams work. You have to capture that here in dependency. And then the entire plan will be created by a project manager that, hey, this is happening at this time, this will be happening at this time, and then go forward with this.
Interesting. I mean, my son does the same thing, and I was talking to him yesterday, and he was like, yeah, see, they let go of people from overseas, so now we are taking over their project, and they don't even know where to start or where to finish, because those people
exactly.
they left.
That is the reason. That is the reason we have project managers in the company. Or even BA can do that. After this class, I feel you will have some skills to handle those things on your own.
Can't wait to do that.
Yep, I'm glad. All right, so let's talk about the homepage, and then I'll probably give you an assignment. So let's go to the homepage. So far we have covered the sign up process and the login process. Now we're going to talk about the homepage. So when a user lands on the homepage, this is the homepage. When a user lands on the homepage, by default, to address will be blank, but from address will always show as from, because users have not agreed to share their locations. So there are two things here. If you have agreed to share your location, then you will see your location here. It says Seattle, right? You'll probably see your address here. If you've not agreed to show your location, then it will just show from, because you don't know what address would it be, correct? So I just call out those two things here. Next, when a user lands on the home page, by default, to address will be blank, but from address will always show as current location, which is what we just discussed. Users shall be able to provide their from and to address on the home page. Refer address page or screen for more information. So the moment you click on this, it will take you to another screen where you can add your from and to address. So if you have mobile application with you on Uber right now, try to click on that. You will see it is taking you to another pop-up is opening up. Go to Uber, and click on 2, or this arrow that you see here, right? Like this, something like this, where you can enter your from and to address. They keep changing their application, so this is the screen I am seeing. If you guys are seeing that I have from and to here, right? So I can put my from address and to address here. So it'll take me to one of the screens. So I'm just saying that this users shall be able to provide their from and to address from address page or screen, which is a separate screen, not this one. It's not a home page. Users shall be able to view the vehicles available nearby his current location, which is, you see this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These vehicles are available in your nearby location. It shows you that, which is this row number 51. Row number 52, users shall be able to view the route information on the map based on the from and to address provided above. This is the route information in orange, right? Users shall be able to select the arrow highlighted in yellow to get the proper direction info. This one. It was not highlighted in yellow. I don't know why did I say that, but yeah. You just click on this arrow here and it will take you, it will show you the proper direction info from that point. When a user selects on the plus symbol, there is no plus symbol here, but I think last time when we were referring, there was a plus sign. It is nothing but booking a ride. When you click on the plus sign, it will let you book a ride. You might have seen some application where there is a plus sign at the bottom. The moment you do that, you can request for a service, right? That's what it is used for. The default location pin will not be shown. So when you land on this page, there is a default location pin, which is mapped to your current location. It will not be shown when you have not agreed to share your location. That's what this requirement is about. Routing logic. For different sub-processes, there is a routing logic, offer screen, payment logic, maps logic. This is all, there is a different sub-processes. How the map is going to function, how the payment is going to function, how the calculation is functioning, how the routing logic is going to work. This is all separate projects. Dependencies on this project for us. So we're not going into details for this, but routing logic is nothing but CRM. This is where you use Salesforce, just for your knowledge. In routing logic is where you use Salesforce. Payment logic is nothing but you use Stripe or the Braintree that we just talked about. Maps is Google Maps. Business process, checklist to start business in a new city or country. So see, I'm creating a business process here. If you want to expand in another city or country, what do you need? You need to know this. You need to have licenses. You need to know state and country law. You need to have legal requirements, compliance requirements. What if things have lost or stolen? How to deal with that? This is all business processes we need around it. Business rules for a fare calculator. This is only for fare calculator. I would need this many fields to calculate my fare calculator, like to calculate my ride fare, which is driver's rating, taxes, ride length, type of ride, type of vehicle, toll tag, mile, city, demand, time, distance. And this is, again, this is a smaller version of what it would be, but this plus this screenshot will give you your calculation logic. Okay. Next. These are the different type of error scenarios. Someone talked about error scenarios, right? These are the error scenarios that we can have. Password does not match. User provides invalid information. Existing account or phone number. One-time password did not match. Credit card information provided is not valid. Expired credit card. From address is not valid. To address is not valid. Service not provided in that area. Drivers not available. App not working. App under maintenance. These are all different error messages that you need to think about. Right? All you're doing is you're literally using this business requirement while you're working at your office. Take this, copy this exact thing and go to your company and ask these questions to them.
Question.
Go ahead.
About the from address. Remember earlier I stated about brick and mortar addresses.
Yes.
So this is what you're talking about.
That will be part of it. Yes. From address is not valid. We need to find out that. And some threshold conditions which will be minimum ride fare, maximum ride fare, minimum distance requirement, maximum distance requirement, cancellation duration. So it will be part of all this threshold here, threshold conditions. So error scenarios we just covered. Threshold conditions, high level, whatever we're writing, everything is high level business requirements here. Business rules and processes. So even when you're working in agile environment, you will be still required to do this analysis, but we write requirements in a different way. We don't write business requirement document, we create user stories. And I'll tell you how to do that when we will talk about agile in our next week's class. But I will need additional hour or two to cover this additional points from business requirements perspective. And once you know this business requirement, how to write this, you are 40% BA after this. This is your core job. These are the questions you need to ask. And this is what I think 40% of the interviews questions will be also around these things. So you will be, and we'll be doing more examples about this. We have two more projects, one for digital mortgage and one for digital marketing. We'll be creating these documents for them as well. And you will exactly see what are the differences, what are the questions we need to ask when we change from project to project. So today's class is all about BRD.
A lot of companies are using agile too these days, right? So yes. we also need agile to know, right?
Yes. So next week class will be around that, how to work on agile, how to write user stories. And you cannot write user stories if you do not know how to write business requirement document. That is the most important thing before you can write user stories. Because in user stories, what you do, you break this 17 or 18 different sections into 18 different user stories. And I'll give you more information when we touch the topic agile, which will probably our coming Saturday next week. So I think assignment is, I want you guys to write a business requirements document for driver's app. Uninstall your Uber, if you have Uber's driver app on your phone, uninstall that if you can, and go through that, create the user journey, create the process flow, and after that, I want you to write this business requirements for that, for driver's app, starting from here, right? They do have sign up, they do have login, but their app is a little different than what we have discussed about the customer, because their home screen is going to look different than passenger's home screen, right? When I say home screen, I'm talking about this one. When you're logged in, what it's going to show you. That is going to be different for them as opposed to what it looks for you.
So this is for a customer, for a driver.
Driver, yes. What we did in the class is passenger. I want you to take home as an assignment for driver app.
And you want all the three components, the Visio, the flow chart, the mock-ups.
Yep. Just not, I don't want it to be perfect. Just try to do it something like a sketchy approach is fine as well. I want you to understand that how to build these flows, right? In company, you will get an ample of time, a lot of time to build this professionally. But I really want you to put down your thoughts. I'm not too concerned about the way it looks or what kind of English language you're using. I'm not too worried about that. I want to make sure that you are in a state to ask these questions that we have covered in the class. All these 80 or 100 questions that we talked about, right? That we talked about. You should be able to think about those questions and those scenarios when you're talking about the driver app. That's the essence of this exercise. It doesn't have to be very accurate or professional enough or look beauty and all. That is not what I'm looking at. Cool. If I will work on that app on my own, if I were to do something, I think I would need probably 3 to 4 hours to do that entire exercise. But I think if you guys want, you guys can divide and conquer. Someone can come up with the user journey. Like two people can come up with the user journey. 2 people can come up with the process flow, and 2 people can actually write the BRD here. Do you want to do that way? Like you guys can divide and conquer. It's all on you. So in that way, you guys can group together And you can say, hey, this is how I have thought about the journey. And someone will say, this is how I've thought about the process. And now someone is going to write business requirement on that. So you will be able to interact with each other really well and understand how you guys talk with each other. This is how it works in the company as well, guys, just for your knowledge. Everything is not on you. You are the driver, but everything is not on you. Do you guys want to divide and conquer?
Of course, why not?
So who wants to pick user journey?
I'm man enough, I'll take it.
So Shahzad is not in the class, and Abdul, I don't see him as well. But I think I'll probably have them be part of one of your groups. We'll just have 3 groups, and I'll probably have them being part of your group. So, or let's just do 2 groups. I think we just have 5 people on the call right now. Let's just do 2 groups. One will do user journey and process flow. I think they kind of go hand in hand. And another group can write the business requirements. Can you do that?
Okay. Yes.
Sure.
We can do that.
So let me pair you guys up. If you don't mind, I'll probably say Hassan, Revant, Nisha, and Abdul. Hassan, Revant, Nisha, and for the user journey and for the process flow. Okay, Savneet, Shrey, and Shazia would probably take care of the business requirements. And one of the key role that you guys will be performing is people who have not attended the class today. It's your job when you work with them to bring them up to the speed. It will be a testimonial for you to really find out how much you have learned in the class. And as a BA, you are going to do this very often. People who miss the meeting, you're going to give them a debrief after that. So everything you're doing in the class is for a reason. So do you guys feel comfortable?
Certainly. Can you please email us the project for us and the team member, please?
I am going to.
What I'm with journey?
We are writing the business BRD document.
Yeah, Savneet, Shrey, and Shazia will do the business requirements. This one, the one that you're looking in front of me right now, like on the screen. This is what you have to create for driver's app. Hassan, Revant, Nisha, and Abdul, they'll probably do the user journey and the process flow.
Okay, the business, the BRD document has to go the last part, right? We have to get that part covered, and then we have to get in touch with them, the other team, and just go with that.
Yeah, in my mind, it has to be in parallel. Like you guys want to just sync up offline. I think you all have each other's email ID. If you want to sync up offline, you can do that. I'm going to create a group for us probably Monday. Let me do that. I think I can create a group for you all, and you can probably start communicating in that group to coordinate and to see what works for you all. But ideally, when there are 2 different groups now, you just have to follow the exact same flow that we have done here, right? When you're writing business requirements, you'll just talk about the app download, then the sign up process, then the login process, and then what the home screen looks like as a driver. So you'll talk about that, and they will create the process flow and the user journey, but they're not connected. But you do have Uber, you do have to download Uber's driver app, so you can see through things and you can write these things for yourself.
It's actually same, but it's
going to be different in terms of the fields are different. You're going to ask for driver's license information, no criminal background and stuff like that when they're signing up. When they log in, as opposed to requesting a ride, they can accept a ride. That's the only difference. Right? A lot of this information that we have here will be applied there as well. Some information will change or some fields will change. That's the only difference. Make sense? And don't get nervous. It's okay to make mistakes. That's not a problem. and that's why you joined this course, so that I can guide you on those things, right? When you make a mistake and how to not do that same thing again.
You want us to email you by Thursday, Friday to review?
If you can, sooner is the better. We have an interview practice class on Thursday. If you can send over this to me by Friday morning, that would give me some time to review your assignments and give you back my feedback before our class on Saturday.
Okay.
Right, but I think it will help you manage your workload now, because the assignment is divided into two different groups. You don't have to spend so many hours the entire week. You can be focused on doing one thing, and then you guys can share your understanding with each other. I'll have a session for 15 minutes in our next class where I will let you guys speak with each other and share your understanding about the project. Sounds good?
Yes.
All right, guys. As always, feel free to give me your feedback. Anything that you think I could have done in this class, would love to hear from you. And if you have any other questions, feel free to message me. I'll get back to you accordingly.
Thank you.
When we do this assignment complete, like next Thursday or Saturday?
Preferably by Friday morning is when I'm looking for, so I have some time to give you my feedback before our class.
Sure.
Right?
Okay.
And we do have a class on Thursday, just for your knowledge.
Would you make a group for WhatsApp group or something so we can coordinate with each other?
Yes, I'm going to create that group. Do you all have Outlook email ID?
No.
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 Yeah.
No.
There is a way.
Yeah, I have.
WhatsApp is easier. I mean,
WhatsApp is easier, right?
Yeah,
I'll
WhatsApp is so easy.
yeah, I'll let you guys create your own groups. That's fine. I think I have your email ID, and
We can make an iPhone message group if you all have iPhones.
No. No,
Yeah,
WhatsApp is convenient.
let me
Okay, then
think
that
about
is
it,
good.
guys. Let me think about that. What is the best way to do it? And I'll probably just look forward for my email. I think I'll probably provide all those details by tonight, so you will know what to do from
Sure.
tomorrow.
Okay,
Okay.
sure.
And what's the last thing? So one thing I wanted to check with you all, guys. Do you guys feel comfortable to attend call on Thursday at 8 p.m. CST as opposed to 7:30
yes.
for 30 minutes?
Yes.
All right, cool. So we'll probably have that call at 8 p.m. CST instead of 7:30. And again, that call will be a very short call, 30 to 45 minutes. We'll just practice interview questions and go from there.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, and
Thank
have
you.
a good rest of the Sunday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Biryani.